So, yes, the people that are on the ship include Conrad Thorngage, halfling, entrepreneur, and seller of fine wines and whiskeys. You also have Lorien, who's currently in feminine form, with 9 lobster. You gave one to the Siren, who is also below deck, and claims to be in unsafe waters. And then you have Yvonne, who now has a tongue and is a player character, still missing an arm. And you have Joseph, who is turned into a goat and has been shamed by the party for endangering everyone's lives needlessly and without the permission. I'm just layering the meta guilt on too.
Nah.
Okay, so...
And Lorien also feels extremely weighed down by the amount of random shit in her bag, including the bag of holding, which is also about to burst.
Okay. Okay. Well, why do I have this so heavy? I'm gonna, am I waiting for fuel for the fire, or what am I waiting for? Because it's been a while.
You're waiting for a place that will not just burn the ship. You're looking for a place to make an actual fire.
There's no galley?
There should be.
There's no galley in the ship.
No, there should be, because I think I saw something like that on the map at least. Every ship has at least some sort of a stove.
Man, you're fancy talk over here. There's stoves.
No, actually, like...
somewhere to eat.
If you want, I can drag us over to the more detailed view of the ship. It's your choice, guys.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Keep in mind there might be some leftover tokens there. You can ignore those if there's like tokens out of place. Let's just pretend this is docked.
Well, who made this? There's a big old dining hall.
Oh shit, I forgot about the dining hall. Actually, yeah, you're right. We have a galley.
Yeah, why is the aft castle cabin blocked off, by the way?
The which cabin?
The aft castle cabin.
Because nobody has walked in there yet.
Ever?
Not that I know of. Nobody asked to walk in there.
Well, I'm gonna fucking walk in there.
Okay, roll for initiative, JK. No, you're good. There you go.
Way,
you're now
viewers,
in there.
It's 9 in the morning.
Most fanciful room in the entire ship.
Was fucking Strahd sailing with us or something?
Nah.
Okay. By the way,
this was originally...
It's 9 in the morning and I'm cranky as fuck.
That's fine. That'll enhance your roleplay when you die. No, I'm kidding. This was originally the guy. I forget his name because he died. I can look up his name. He was the guy who owned the ship. This was his.
I'm immediately getting my stuff and moving it here.
That's fine. No one's really stopping you as far as you know.
Yep.
I do want to tell you the name of that guy though. Let me see. His name is Lothar Rains. And as you start moving your stuff in here, you recall him saying that one of the most special features about his ship that he boasted about is that it has the grounding spell on it, which is a spell that if someone were to ever teleport off of the ship or go through different planes of existence and to return, they would not be lost at sea but return back safely on the ship, even if the ship has moved its position.
Ooh, that's very handy.
It's something that was briefly mentioned while at the Fighters Guild back in Gryld.
Okay, so there's a galley.
There's a galley. My bad. Yes. Sometimes D&D writes itself.
Where's that? I'm looking for it. Oh, it's over here. Okay.
Ah!
I'll toss you some hay.
You hear a goat.
Where's another blocked off section? What the fuck?
Where?
The lower gun deck. We got pigs and shit on one side.
Would you like to go in there?
Yeah, I'd like to go in there.
Okay, you may go in there.
But I took my lobsters down here. Okay.
You see You see that this room has unfortunately doubled over as a makeshift medical surgery room and also a place where meats are prepared.
Who the fuck sleeps in here?
Nobody sleeps in here, according to what you can discern. Most
I
of
backed out of the murder room.
most of the crew has been staying up in the quarters up on that other deck. Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna go, since I heard the goat. Yeah.
That was just for jokes, but okay. That was a strip for shits and giggles, but I guess the coat is just under his fucking coat still. Sleeping on
Yeah.
the side.
How was the lobster?
Who are you
I
asking?
asked. Siren.
She nods and continues to eat the same lobster that you gave her. It's only been a few moments since you have given her the lobster. And as she
Is it
bites
like-
into its chitinous shell, you can see that she has very sharp teeth, unlike a human.
I was gonna ask if it was like that scene from Splash.
You
at
did
the
mention that last time, and last time I said Julia Roberts, and I was wrong. I actually looked it up yesterday because I was listening to the campaign while I was doing some work, and it's a different actress. I forget her name, but yeah, totally different actress.
Alright, well.
I was thinking of that one with the streetwalker.
Oh yeah, that's Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey, is there like corn and stuff in here?
You look around, make an investigation roll, or perception roll, your choice, really.
I want to find ingredients, Steve. I'm gonna do
26.
seafood boil.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. You see that literally everything has spoiled from sailing near the pestilence of the rift and that entire region. And just as you
Womp
finish investigating the galley, you hear a very full, hearty voice shout from the docks and say, "Permission to come aboard?"
Ugh, come back upstairs. Who am I looking at?
You're looking at this fella, and he seems to be carrying a large sack.
Oh, it's Santa.
Hello,
I couldn't
grizzly
help-
silver fox with a large sack. What do you want?
I couldn't help but see you take all those lobster aboard. It would be a shame if you didn't have some garlic bread to go with it. Welcome to
Garlic.
Heldren.
Come on up, I suppose.
So he makes his way up with the sack over one shoulder, and does so pretty easily considering he's carrying a big old sack of purportedly garlic bread. That'd be a good band name, purportedly garlic bread. Anyway, carry on.
What's your name, sailor?
Name's Von Taylor. I'm sorry, Von Tanner, and I'm not much of a sailor, but I do work in the merchant district here in Heldren.
Ah. And do you sell garlic bread?
I'm not selling, I'm sharing.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, my friends have all gone and fucked off to go shopping without me, so, you're welcome to join me for some lobster.
It'll be my pleasure. I often like to spend my time with the travelers coming in and out of the port. Keeps my day interesting, as I don't really have anybody of my own.
Uh-oh.
He's that ripped, huh, Steve?
He's that ripped.
Lorian might
What
have a
gender-
little extra swing to her hips right now. As
What
she,
gender is Lorian again? Right now.
Female currently.
female, yep.
Okay.
Not
boy,
that it
I think-
matters.
my homebrew is all inclusive, but yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. You gotta
Yeah,
you
but
gotta role play it out.
Mhm.
Surprise, he's a hermaphrodite. No, I'm kidding.
That works.
That works. I
Works.
mean,
I'm
you
gonna
fucked
be
the tiefling already, so that's
Peeking
that's
up
a
over
thing.
the stairs to watch.
Yvonne! You want some lobster? And garlic bread?
Yvonne kind of glances between you and the guy, puts together the pieces of where the garlic bread must be, and just nods.
He walks over and reaches into his bag, and as he does, you see his muscles ripple and glisten in the
no.
sun that is beginning to reach dusk. It is still late afternoon, and he hands you a piece of garlic bread,
Nice.
which looks already golden and crisp. He already toasted it for everyone.
Nice. Alright. I'm going to... Yvonne, I'm going to set this pot to boil. I'm going to go get the goat. I
Excuse
go
me?
down.
I
Thank
was
you. What?
boiled.
No. I'm going to feed him some garlic bread.
I don't know if garlic is good for goats.
That's a good point. The goat could just stay in the cage. No garlic bread for you, just.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure garlic is toxic for just about everything except humans.
Yeah, we're weird. That's true.
We're toxic ourselves.
That's true.
Joseph, you actually begin to start transforming back into your normal form earlier than you had expected. You're totally naked
Wait.
except for your coat.
Joseph's just sitting there, his ass on the fucking hay, and he's covered in his fucking coat. Well, that was interesting. Oh, and then he takes the lockpick he had, he kind of wipes it off and actually hides it between his gums.
Between his gums. Wow, okay. Sounds
And he puts on the, and he looks around, stands up, puts on the coat, and actually closes the front. Well, this might be interesting. Joseph walks up to the bars and looks around.
The bar's where? On what level?
I am on the
He's the
lowest. I
cage.
am the
He's the
lowest.
siren.
I am in the cage, remember?
Oh, you're still in the cage. Okay, gotcha. You see the siren munching on a pretty big lobster, bigger than you've ever seen in Gryold,
Hmm.
and nobody else is down here.
Bon appetit.
She looks over at you and then continues to eat the lobster without saying a word.
He smirks a little bit. And he starts thinking, recalling everything that had happened. Does Joseph remember something different there? So, oh wait, let me just so I remember now two timelines. The one that was the original one and the one that I changed, right?
So you're the only one that knows what happened before you drew the card and what happened after. Your mind remembers both timelines, and you know that you are living the one that changed. If you need
Yeah,
any
I guess that
clarification
changed.
as to the events that happened, I can help with that too.
Yeah. I think I remember what happened now. Just stands there and thinks over what he did, and I guess he does feel a little bit guilty for what he did.
And so while you think about that, Lorian, where are you serving the lobster? What area are you all having that in? Just so I know what
figured
part
we
of the deck.
sit at this big ass dining table since there's a big ass dining table.
I'm scrolling around. The dining table near all the quarters, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so you kind of roll that map up, which is just a map of the region. It's not an actual battle map like depicted in the picture there. And so there's enough room for everyone to sit. There are 3 of you sitting there, I think, at the moment. Conrad seems to be doing his own thing on the ship. He's sort of just rummaging around. So he's not really eating his meal now, but he will get to it. I'm not going to bother with the tokens at the moment.
Yeah.
And so Von Tanner seems to be eating very neatly, considering he's completely shirtless. It's chilly out, but, you know, for a burly man like himself, you think he can handle it. And
Bit nipply out?
Say again? Yeah, it's a bit nipply out. But under, below deck where you guys are, it's a little bit warmer. A little bit.
Nice,
And so he
nice.
looks you over and says, so where have you sailed from?
Oh, well, let's see. We sailed originally from Gryhold. And then we went to... Steve, what's the name? Northrend. And we went to
Northold.
Northrend. Northold.
Yeah.
And Northrend's from World of Warcraft, I think, or something, I don't know. We went to Northold. And, saved the world from the rot. And now we're here. To resupply and figure out our next move.
Yvonne and Lorien, you can both make an insight roll.
Oh my god.
Lorien has no clue what's going
No,
on.
no, wait. No, that's right, yeah.
On the
I have
other
no idea.
hand, Yvonne sees a twinkle in Vaughn's eyes, and you can tell that he is somewhat enamored by Lorien.
So, Yvonne's gonna find something on the table that she could feasibly pass to Lorien, and she is going to pass it via Von Tanner. So pick it up, hand it to him, and kind of nod towards Lorien.
And so he reaches across and passes it to Lorien.
My fingers might delicately brush his hand, just the tips.
Oh, that sounds
Lightly,
like
as
a sleight of hand roll. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, come on.
Sleight of hand roll.
No, knock the salt.
So what is it that he's passing over, Yvonne?
Probably something small like salt or pepper, like I don't know, some type of seasoning.
I will say
Damn
that
it.
I will say that the salt and pepper has not gone bad on the ship, as it is a little bit different than other foods.
I mean, salt's
It
just
is.
a rock, so
It's exactly. It's more mineral based, so
pepper might have gone bad. Salt.
Yeah, well, it's the salt that he's passing. And so Lorien attempts this with her fingers, but clumsily causes the salt to fall across the table. And Von Tanner immediately stands up and says, "That is my fault. Please sit. I will fix this." And he starts to clean the table up for you.
As he bends over the table, I'm gonna very subtly lean back and ogle his butt. And lean forward again. I'm
Back
so
to Joseph.
sorry. That was
sorry. Go on.
terribly, terribly clumsy of me. All right, go on. Back to Joseph.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm still
The
trying to remember how to use fingers.
siren looks back at you again and says nothing as she eats the lobster.
Joseph starts whistling a sailor's tune. That if you guys know the song "My Jolly Sailor Bold," he starts whistling that melody that he has probably heard from the taverns and stuff like that from Greyhold.
This immediately interests the siren. She holds the lobster in one hand but rushes over, and her eyes widen, as you know that she is familiar with music and melody. She tilts her head and observes as you whistle.
For the sake of your all ears, I'm not going to attempt any whistle into the microphone. But yeah, he for a second stops, looks at the siren. He's actually sitting down, like his legs crossed, covering up his crotch area. But I guess he just kinda keeps whistling a melody. Maybe from here and there, maybe if a few words come back to me, like my heart is pierced by Cupid, heart is stained all glittering gold, there is nothing can console me. I picked such a bad fucking key. But my jolly sailor bold keeps whistling.
Her voice gently follow the melody. When she does that, all of a sudden the lock clicks open,
Nice.
and you think that perhaps she used the magic of her voice to do so, similar to the spell knock. And
That's
the door
pretty
swings. The door swings open.
And which way does the door swing? Outwards or
It swings
inwards?
away from you, but it doesn't go near her or anything. There's enough space there. It's a pretty small door.
Joseph trails off a little bit. He's like, oh shit. Now there's an open way between me and the siren. Can I make an insight check on the siren, thinking if I am to understand if I am in danger?
Okay, make the roll.
That would be a 10.
So with a 10, I also want you to make a flat wisdom roll as well.
Ah, your boy is gonna get charmed. I think it's like this. Ooh,
Correct.
12.
So
Wow,
with, so with both of those rolls, you get nothing with your insight roll. The creature comes across as very flat, if anything, just curious. But the siren doesn't give a lot away, and she never did the whole time any of you have spoken with her. She often gives very flat expressions. And your wisdom gives you a sense that you think that this creature could kill you if it wanted to, but it doesn't seem to be aggressive. It's not showing any body language of aggression at all. You're not necessarily afraid of the creature, but you respect its power. You know that these things have been known to slay very strong sailors.
I guess he just continues to sing. His hair it hangs in ringlets, his eyes as black as coal. My happiness attend him whenever he may go.
I still think you would have been an awesome bard. But anyway, so the siren hums along with you. Back up to the table of food. Von Tanner has finished cleaning up the salt and has a seat and continues to eat again. And he apologizes again for knocking over the salt, even though it is blatant that it was not him who spilled the salt.
Fucking Lauren.
Von Tanner.
Uh-oh. I know that tone. I know that
Have
tone
you-
of voice.
Have you lived on this island all your life, or are you a traveler?
I'm most certainly a traveler. I've been just about everywhere in the realm at one point.
Have you been to Iverstead lately?
Not lately, but I would like to go there to make sure things are set right. I've heard that there are many injustices there.
Indeed. I plan to go to free the slaves next, if possible.
Very good.
We just need a little time to heal, to make our preparations, figure out what to do. It's been very hard. Alright, I don't want to make this too cringe, okay? I don't want to make it too cringe.
I mean, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's gonna
Okay,
be
so it's
cringe no matter
automatically
what.
cringe.
It's
Yeah.
automatically cringe. The fact that I post this
It's
shit on
just been-
YouTube is like, I'm just all in. Let's go.
It's been so hard.
Well, let's do a persuasion roll on that one. However, do it with advantage. Oh, 24. I mean, doesn't get better than that, really.
I mean, yeah, I could roll again just to see. Just to see. Okay, I'm
Right.
glad that I got that first roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Von Tanner says it must have been rough staying on this ship for this whole journey. Perhaps you could use a little loosening of the muscles when you're done with your meal. And he flexes and cracks his knuckles as if to imply you could use a good back massage.
Oh, you're speaking my language, Von Tanner. I would be much obliged. I eat my lobster seductively.
which is very
Please
hard
don't
to
make
do.
me roll for that.
You
Please
do
don't
not
make me
have
roll for
you don't
that.
have things to crack open those chitinous things. You're probably just You have a little mallet, though. So, what are you doing during this, Yvonne? During this
Poor Yvonne.
exchange, just sitting there, trying to eat lobster with one hand. Your mic is not even coming through now, so try to sort out your mic. Check your Discord input. We'll get back in touch
That
with
one
you. No, now it works.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. It only registers like 8 mics to Discord and only one of them functions. Go figure, right? Yvonne is sitting there picking little pieces of her lobster that she can get and popping them in her mouth like it's popcorn, just watching this exchange go down.
So I want to just take a look at him, Mr. Shirtless. Does he look like a merchant? 'Cause he doesn't look like a merchant to me, honestly.
You can make either a perception, an investigation, or a flat intelligence roll, and you may get different information depending on what you choose.
Well, I'm not going to get much. I'm too, It's been a while for poor Lorien, Steve.
Investigation
It's
was
been a
9.
while.
That's okay. Well, you can see even with a 9 that he has some scars, so you figure that he's been around or at least has seen tough times. You see that he wraps himself in such ways that maybe are used to just keep the muscles in good shape when doing heavy lifting. So you think maybe he does a lot of lifting. I mean, you can see that just from his muscles. And that's about it. You see that he's probably human, but you're not quite sure. He has sort of elegant features. You don't know if he has maybe some lineage of elven, but you don't think he's as full as a half-elf. You're not quite sure.
No. And he's got a little, gray happy trail to the promised land.
Well, the Promised Land may be where you're going later.
Maybe. Yeah, there's a part of Lorien that thinks back to what happened to Nimbleway.
Nimbleway had a tough time with Merrick Rommel.
Yeah. Yeah, she did the one night stand random hookup and got robbed all the fuck because of it. So
Indeed. You've had some one-night stands between then and there.
yeah, I have, but with people I knew and kind of trusted, I think. I only fucked the tiefling though, right? Yeah, I only fucked
I
the
don't
tiefling.
know. Was it only the tiefling? There was a lot of fucking that night.
Just a fucking Nimbleway, but
Yeah, I guess so.
I
Still
fucked the
ace restricted.
And the deck of many things fucked Sandro, so I guess a lot of fucking happened that day.
That's fucked up.
Well,
I
I
mean-
can say something else.
Go ahead.
No.
Wait, what?
I was referring to the deck fucked up Sandra, but I said that well I can say something else.
Yeah, but
No.
you didn't get that fucked by the deck, trust me.
Yeah.
Sandra is
That's the
still
point.
gone.
That's the
Still MIA.
That's the point. I was meaning that I didn't get fucked by it.
Got you.
Yes.
There's a first time for everything, Sid. You'll see.
Just remember, anything's a
So-
dildo if you're brave enough.
The meal concludes. Sid, you're getting pretty damn tired of... Joseph is getting pretty damn tired of being down at the bottom of that ship for like the whole goddamn journey and goat form. So you're kind of getting a little antsy down there, to be honest with you. The siren seems to be quite at home down here. And you can only imagine that it is akin to being beneath the waves. Security blanket of coverage. So, what are you all doing? Von Tanner.
Von Tanner.
Von
I mean,
choose a room. Again, I can
Alright,
move these
I'm
tokens aren't even really here because they've all been taken to the infirmary and they're all doing fine as far as you know.
I'm gonna just subtly drop my bags off with the thief that we picked up who robbed my house.
Yvonne.
Yes.
Oops.
Because
I mean, I can't steal it if you give it to me.
what
But
do you
again,
say?
a lot happened
Yeah,
between
true.
then and
I
there.
can't
Just to
steal
be
it if
fair.
you give it to me.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot happened between there and there. Like a lot happened. Like she gave a lot of good intel. She gave her life. You know, well. I mean, you don't know that she gave her life. It's complicated. It's complicated.
As I pass her, I'm going to cast message. Okay.
Very well.
And very quietly and subtly say, "Thank you for being my wing woman. I hope to have a good night, but I don't know if I can entirely trust this guy, so if you could keep an eye on the stuff and him, if he, leaves, I'd appreciate it."
Will do. Don't exhaust him too much.
I chuckle softly out loud and continued on towards the fancy cabin with the with the fucking pipe organ in it, and the only bed that's big enough for 2 people.
And so, on the topic
Fireplace.
of items, since we're on that topic, are you bringing anything with you aside from the clothes you're wearing?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, do I need my spell book to cast spells?
I think you
Yeah,
need
I
only
have
to prepare
memorized.
your spells. To prepare your
Yeah,
spells.
they're prepared. Yeah. So no, just me and my clothes. Just me and my clothes. The rest of
Soon
it's
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Soon I won't have that. Yeah.
Which room are you going into?
I'm going into the
Captain's
aft castle
quarters.
cabin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I have 100% moved into immediately upon finding them, because it's got its own bathroom. I mean, holy fuck, of course, and a walk-in closet. I mean, this is mine forever.
Yvonne's gonna go park herself on the stairs and find something to amuse herself.
Oh, bless.
Very good.
If this galleon's a rockin', they'll come a knockin'.
I mean, we're on the ocean.
So
Gonna make some counter waves. Yeah. Mhm.
So, since Jinio and Rohal have not come back yet, I will streamline what happens to them. They spent some time in the tavern. They come back. They tell you this. They say that. Well, actually, you don't know this, Lorian, because you're out of sight. I don't know, Sid. Have you come top deck yet?
I'm indisposed. Mhm.
Has Joseph come top deck, Sid? Now
Not
your
yet,
mic
at
is
least.
not. Sorry, what?
Not yet, at least.
Okay, sorry, your mic wasn't coming through. Okay, so then only Yvonne knows this. About an hour or 2 passes, hour and a half passes. It's dusk now. The sun is low, very, very low, almost on the horizon. So Friedgeek is on the ship, just tending to the cannons, because they are gnomish in nature. He's making sure they're all operable. Giva comes back and tells you, Yvonne, that a blacksmith is working on your arm. It might take about 2 days to finish. Rohal and Jinyo come back together. They say they spent some time at the Quester's Quench Tavern, and they spent some time at the local alchemist shop. And they're trying to cut a deal with this gnomish alchemist. And they also say that they ran into Falmanar, who tracked them down at the Quester's Quench. And Falmanar said that his wedding is set to be in 2 days, and that all of the other crew members are doing well. They're sleeping through the siren's song, but they have a druid who is watching over them and tending to them, and that Beatrice's father is a powerful seer and saw that she will be okay, and saw that they would have made it here to the island in the first place. And so these wedding plans are all going based on his foresight. And you are to meet him and a few other of the leaders in 2 days' time, during and after the wedding. All of us. Falmanar also gave Rohal the broken pieces of Godsbane. Some of you do not know what that is. Some of you were here in the campaign, some of you were not. Godsbane is a broken piece of weapon that was found in Northhold in the tombs, which is apparently a very powerful weapon, and it's missing a piece to it. It's missing the hilt. You have pieces of the broken blade. And everyone sort of recuperates on the ship and prepares for a night on the ship before choosing which quest to go on, as there were some quests that were posted in the tavern. Jinyo and Rohal were
Okay, so-
interested in two of the quests. One of them involved transporting corn. One of them involved slaying unknown beasties somewhere, which can also lead to a better discount on the potions.
So let me get it straight. So what had happened in the? So I guess we sang. Me and the fucking siren sang for some time now.
Yes. She
What's
ate the
going on
entirety
now
of the
there?
lobster, including the shell, the chitinous shell.
Okay,
And you're just
so
sort of
right
wandering
now she's
around
just-
now. She's just actually sleeping now in like a nasty puddle in the lower deck.
Well, there's a feeling that his undersides are getting a little bit windy. Decides to exit the cell. And hold on, let me make sure I can see the map where I'm going. And takes these stairs here. Comes up. And I guess the melody is a little bit stuck in his head, so he's humming the Jolly Sailor Bold softly as he walks, without shoes, only the coat, pretty silently, I guess. Can I roll stealth for just shits and giggles?
Tell me which stairwell you were going up again?
I went up. I went up. Fuck's sake, mouse. I went up these stairs on the bottom deck, and I believe they came up from here.
Sure, roll stealth.
I just want to see how silent I am right now with stuff here.
You're
I'm
actually
pretty silent, I guess.
you're even stealthier than the dice roll because you're barefoot, so your bare feet are even quieter than they would normally be with your normal boots.
Wait, where are the stairs? Oh yeah, and then I guess I take these stairs here. And now these stairs here, I believe. Oop. Okay. Sorry, I'm using the fucking touchpad on the
You are
laptop
now
because.
you are now in the map room, also the giant table.
Yeah.
room.
Okay. So there. So I guess I'm humming and coming up there.
Yep, you're there. You see
And-
that there is some cooked lobster that has been untouched and a bunch of garlic bread.
I guess no one's here then.
You see Conrad Thorngage rummaging around in one of the rooms here, and he welcomes you. He says, "Welcome."
I
on."
believe that was my room actually. Where
Well,
last was.
he's still tidying it up. As you remember, it was quite the mess.
He comes on the door.
The door's open.
How are my stuff? Most of my clothes.
Your clothes are on your bed folded, Joseph. Are you feeling better?
Yes, thank you.
It's quite the journey we had, isn't it?
Joseph's a little bit more. His face is like. I guess like his face is rested. Like, I guess you call it stoic.
Mm-hmm.
And almost like looking into the distance, and then steps back and looks at. It was. What was his name again?
Conrad.
Conrad. He looks at Conrad and says, "Everything's been alright while I was gone."
Yes, everything's been well, and I hope you tell the others I'm about to go into town. I have lots of unfinished business. It's good to finally be back in familiar territory. As you remember, I have several cases of my wine here that I plan to sell on our journey to Northold, but we didn't know how dire the situation was there. So, I'm going to take one crate at a time into town. So if any of the others are looking for me, tell them I'll be back and forth. And he starts to pull a fairly small crate, 'cause he's a small halfling, from one of the other rooms up top deck. And he's heading toward Heldring. Even though it is late in the night, he knows his way around, as it is close to Esthold, which is where he is originally from. So he knows
Joseph
these
goes into
places.
his room and clothes all puts all of the rest of his clothes on. He actually puts on his gloves and hat, and actually he's going to check because he saw what had happened to his tobacco. He's going to open up the box of Venison cigars and check on them. Are those ruined as well?
Yes, they are.
He says, well, bugger.
Yvonne, I'm pinging where he is. I know it's a big map. If you zoom out, you can see.
Yeah, I'm moving myself to the overhead ship instead of like in a faded corner of the room.
Sure.
I think about here is where outside of her room is.
Sounds good to me. And I think we're all set for the evening. Lorian is having a lovely time. Let's see
Yay.
here. Lorian,
And
you're
Joseph
gonna
is
do
still
a
humming.
performance roll. Lorian, do a performance roll.
Performance?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I just DM'd Trigger.
All right. Yeah.
Not bad.
You are performing
Yeah.
well, if that is your intention.
Yes, it is. I have some stress to get out. This whole
And I-
like prophecy thing is really weighing on Lorian. Lorian just wanted to hang around cabins and get laid, and now has to try to fucking save the world. Lorian is gonna fuck like her life depends on it. Like all of her joy is concentrated in this one moment because it might be all she can get.
Now
Can I roll-
roll
can I-
a
Oh.
Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Ooh.
Don't worry, you're not like getting poisoned or anything. It's just a matter of like how exhausted are you. That's all. Relax, guys.
If you're going to black out,
You're still conscious, but Von Tanner appears to be relaxed and drifting into a sleep at this point in time.
I run my fingers through his gray chest hair and turn all like jello and loose and happy. And very, very quietly to myself say, "Oh yeah, still got it."
Do you choose to do your Elven 4-hour rest or not?
Yes, but with a little smile that's actually totally genuine for the first time in quite a long time.
Aw, that's cute. Just
Morning comes. Unless you have anything else to say, Joseph?
he's still humming, and he steps out of his cabin. And so I believe this door here exits over here.
The power of garlic bread. Yes, it's right over there.
Joseph exits and hums. Keeps
Well.
humming. Can I see anyone on deck?
No.
Yvonne's asleep.
Actually, that's not true. Giva is on board just looking at the stars. These other tokens aren't really here. I'll put these.
Where are you, Yvonne? Because for me, you're outside on the stairs.
She is. She's outside Lorian's cabin.
My bad, you see her. Yep.
Yeah, with that constitution roll of 4, Yvonne attempts to stay awake and fails miserably, so she's kind of resting on the stairs out cold.
Yes, you're awake, but on the brink of falling asleep at this point in time.
Joseph
four.
takes the decision to walk up and back to the ship.
Joseph, you also need to roll a Constitution saving throw to see how tired you are. Because you've been on a journey, my friend, and you've been up all night too. You've been up all night with your fucking deck of many things.
Yo, I actually did sleep as a goat a little bit, didn't I?
I don't remember your goat adventures.
At least I remember
I thought he
saying that
crawled
I
into
was
the bed
sleeping.
and fell asleep.
No, in the
I shall allow
in the cell I was sleeping under my little. So you wanted the Constitution, right?
Yeah,
19.
you're not sleepy at all. You're actually just super excited to be a human again.
Yvonne's the only one who had a really long day.
Aw.
So yeah, I guess he's just humming and sometimes singing some lyrics.
Okay.
I'm guessing at at one point I see Yvonne, right?
Yeah, you do.
Joseph immediately stops singing. Looks at Yvonne. I guess she's in the brink of falling asleep.
I mean, she's pretty much out.
Joseph, not trying to be stealthy, but kind of walks over to the base of the steps. Like, kind of like near where one of the handrests are.
Okay, you do so.
And for a little bit, I just look at her, and so I guess she's just flat out cold out, right?
Yeah, she's like, it looks like she was sitting on the stairs and then kind of like leaned over to rest a bit on one of the stairs, and then the second she put her head down, she was out.
Cold, right?
Yeah, she is sound asleep.
All right. So that is
Joseph.
the evening. Joseph, what do you would like to do while everyone's asleep?
Joseph's like tries to understand like why the fuck are you outside here? And I'm guessing like while I was doing my stuff, I didn't hear what was going on in the captain's cabin, right?
No.
I guess he's not sure if it would be wise to try to wake her up or wait till the evening or the next morning.
Make a wisdom
So,
roll.
okay. I'm quite stupid, so let's see how this goes. 16.
You think it would be better to wait for the morning, because she has a reason to be cranky at you already, and you don't want to wake her up and make her crankier. Always best to have a
Do I know-
conversation with a woman after she slept well.
Joseph, well, quickly,
I'm kidding.
Joseph goes quickly, well, in a quicker step, and actually goes to find a small blanket, comes back up, and I guess puts a blanket on Yvonne so that she wouldn't catch a chill, and then just leaves.
You find one of the quarters that's not being used by the crew that are no longer there, so that's it's easy enough to do. Okay. Are you gonna rest, or are you gonna try to stay up for the night, Joseph? What are you gonna do?
Would I be able to sleep at all right now, even?
Yes, you can. You can sleep.
I guess I go sit on the chair here. It looks quite comfortable. I cross my legs, bring my hat down a little bit, cross my fingers, how do you call it? When you like intertwine your fingers and like hold together your hands.
I don't know if it has a name, but I get you.
Well, puts that in his lap and kind of just tries to rest on the chair, and it waits. He's half
You-
awake in a way.
You all get good sleep. The morning comes. I'm just gonna use the other tab for now. We can use theater of the mind for below deck. Lorian, when you wake up, Von Tanner is no longer there. And
Oh. Love him and leave him, okay?
Yvonne, you wake up and it's a little chilly. This place is not as cold as Northolt, but there's definitely a chill in the morning air. Joseph, you also awake a little sore in the back from falling asleep in a stiff wooden chair. And Yvonne, you also see Giva above deck, awake again before you, and she is just sorting out things top deck. Just kind of like making sure the ropes are tied and looking over the deck and seeing if the docks are busy and whatnot.
And you have a blanket over yourself.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, so Yvonne, at this point, Giva's the only one she can see, so her assumption's going to be that Giva put the blanket on her. She's going to kind of wrap the blanket around to keep off the chill and make her way over to Giva and ask, hey, did you see that Vaughn guy leave Lorian's chambers last night? I fell asleep.
So she says that she did not. She also was asleep and resting because she did not know what the next day would bring, and she wanted to be ready. So she did not see him leave, she says.
I'm gonna briefly search the cabinet and see if anything's missing.
Well,
Do an
the
investigation.
cabins are in the...
Also, welcome Roosevelt. I will catch you up on what
Thank
you
you.
missed. Roll has not missed anything too drastic. Okay, so Lorian, you think everything is exactly as you believe Yvonne left it, and it seems that Yvonne has not even rearranged things at all either. Things seem to be in place.
Nice.
You have not been come and goed with loot.
Yay!
Yeah, you missed a nice romantic session, Rohal. Before we get to you, Joseph, I'm just going to give Rohal a very brief overview. You and Jinyo were in the tavern. Falmanar tracked you down there, lets you know that he's expecting to have his wedding in 2 days with Beatrice, and that Beatrice's father is not only a prominent royal figure, but also a very powerful seer, and foresaw that she will be okay and that the wedding will take place in 2 days. He also gave you, specifically Rohal, the shards of the broken blade for God's Bane, the weapon that you and Jinyo found in the crypts of Northold so long ago. It is still missing the hilt, but you have the shards of the blade. You still do not fully understand its power, but you know that it is something that is beyond all of you. He gave that to you for safekeeping, as he is becoming somewhat domesticated, it seems. He's got a lot going on. He has to tend to all of the crew that are unconscious, and he did mention of a druid there that is overwatching them, and the crew are all doing fine. All the crew that are unconscious, they're doing fine. They're sleeping it out. And so you're back at the ship, and you slept. You got some rest in the night on the ship there, so you can recharge any spells that you need to recharge, or whatever it is that you druids do. And Jinyo has also returned with you.
Hey, anybody, so he didn't hand over the deck of many things then?
The deck of many things was given to you when you all left the ship originally, if you recall.
Oh, okay. I guess I
Yeah.
just didn't put it in my inventory or something. I don't think. Or did I? No, I guess I didn't. I better add that. Yeah, okay.
Is it added to my inventory, by the way?
No. I can do it, or you can do it, whichever is simpler. I don't mind if you do it. And Joseph, you were going to say something. Joseph's also human now. And they all had a lobster and garlic bread feast.
Yes.
The garlic bread's a long story.
Lorian, by the way, Rohal, is way less sarcastic, doesn't make nearly as many acidic cutting comments, and is like one arm hugged on Yvonne and is like humming to herself. It's really creepy because you're used to Lorian being like kind of waspish and stressy and bitter, and she's almost seems drunk. She's like, so her muscles are all loose. She's not all tense. And she's just like happily floating around the ship.
So
Can I perhaps? Yeah.
No, go on.
I was thinking of using my.
Water breathing.
No. Well, that comes later. But I was rather thinking of trying to figure out what's going on with. Is it her now, or is it
She. It's a she.
him? She. It's a she.
Her.
Right now. Yeah. Lauren. By perhaps doing is she like affected by something? Yeah. What would I roll for that?
So two things I'll say. One, Rohal, you're going to roll insight, and two, Lorian, I forgot to mention with your investigation, you also find one thing that was not there before that has been added to the side table of the bedroom is a coin, and on the coin has the two faces that you have seen before on one of the coins that you have. And it is
a
there.
coin of Hoar, is it?
Horror, yes. There's a coin with the sigil of horror on the table there, which was not there before.
Nice.
So Rohal rolled a 14. Rohal thinks
And
that
both,
Lorian
wow.
is just getting some good rest and relaxation, finally being back in the cradle of civilization. That's all that he gathers from that. But then again, you are a druid. You see that she is a little flushed as well, healthily.
I assume you saw that I rolled both insight and medicine.
Yeah, so medicine, I will say that she's looking healthy and flushed. She's definitely not sickly or pale. She's better than
Or rather,
usual.
I was kind of thinking of, different, influenced by something.
You do not believe that she is under any
gorgeous.
drugs or anything at all. You don't think she's under any
How are you
influence or anything.
doing, sweetie darling?
I'm quite alright, thank you.
Oh,
I-
lovely. I playfully tap Rohal in the chest and sort of float by.
I was gonna say, did I share the information that I found at the bar?
Yes,
did
as
you?
far
Yeah,
as
you did.
the quests
Before.
that are available to you guys, yes.
I have shared them. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Good. I'm all right. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm feeling better than I have in quite some time. I really appreciate the locals of this island. I'll just put it that way. And I wink
Hey,
and
taste
swagger.
of local cuisine.
Oh yeah, I recommend the garlic bread.
Gotcha. Not what I was expecting, but insane cuisine. But yeah.
And Lorian actually titters, you know, giggle and full bodied with good flavor. Yeah.
Full body with yeah. Well, sounds like you're gonna need a priest at some point. Holy water and all that jazz, cleaning. You know, if you believe such things.
But I should hope I won't. Goodness.
Yeah, no,
She,
ridiculous, aren't they?
she starts thinking to herself, she didn't cast a detect diseases spell last night or anything like that. And did anybody have a sheep gut too?
Sheep gut.
Sheep
gut?
gut too. She didn't have a sheep. She's muttering to herself, "Oh no, no sheep gut tube. Oh no."
Good, because the sheep that we have, you cannot. Actually, it's a goat, but close enough.
Oh, there's no goat anymore. That Joseph
Oh,
is,
it's not a
is
goat. Okay.
Joseph is
Good.
now Joseph again.
Wait, how do you
Excellent.
know that? How do you know that?
Oh, I thought that we saw you up on deck. No? Oh, okay, never mind
I
then.
think Lorian's the
Oh, he's-
one who maybe didn't see that quite yet.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Now
sorry.
that
Then
Joseph
I don't
mentions
know.
it, that's a good point.
No. Oh, yeah. No, that's a goat.
Yeah.
I'm-
So, you're he's still alive, I assume then.
Hey, Rohal,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any kind of a detect life spell?
Detect life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I must say, give me a moment.
I forget, there might be a spell like that. There's so many goddamn spells in this game. You let me know if you
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah,
Sort of like
I
spell
will.
of protection or something.
I played some game somewhere that has a detect life. I can't remember if that was a D&D based game. I think
I
there is
know
a,
that
I think there
there's-
is a detect life.
I know the Elder Scrolls games have them.
That's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. And do you have any kind of a spell where you can detect individual life forms? Say one inside. I need a pregnancy test.
If you
From it would take like a week, for
Oh.
you can detect it through like pissing in a cup and tasting it. But other than that, I don't think you can really identify that.
Oh. Well, all right.
I'm not gonna taste your pee, by the way.
It's not my kink, darling. That's all right. And Lorian suddenly a shadow crosses over her face, and she mutters, "Guess it doesn't really matter anyway." And she
What
she
does
sort
it
of,
really matter?
well,
So as
she leans-
as Lorian says that and kind of relives certain things in her past, certain things do pop into her memory, such as having been pregnant and having turned into a male, losing the pregnancy. Also having read certain cryptic passages about someone who is neither male nor female, or both, and that there was a prophecy of Lorien's child being the one to save the world. And so she is thinking about what that means, and that she has already lost that child, and what do prophecies offer if they can be that incorrect, and if she's already lost the child.
But then Lorien thinks about the coin that she found on her bedside table. And she says a little prayer to Hor, saying, if there is a child, and if it can bring vengeance and stop that which lurks, please guard it. Please protect the life if it's there.
You don't happen to consider your baby as a trap?
Lorien's head slowly turns. Maybe someday you'll
'Cause-
understand.
Because finding a trap I can do, but I can't detect life forms.
No. Lorien
alright.
walks away from Rohal. Lorien fucking just turns her back on Rohal and fucking leaves.
Can't a guy be facetious? Come on.
Where are you going?
Not about this. Is Yvonne still on deck?
She is.
I mean, you still got her, like, wrapped under your arm. She's just kind of watching all this. Confused.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know I was dragging you around with me. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yvonne's
just
still trying
gonna-
to pluck up the courage to let you know that I kind of screwed up and fell asleep. She hasn't told you yet.
But you still have the bag of holding and stuff, though, right?
She does.
Yeah, as far as she knows.
It's all there, as far as you know.
Okay. Yeah. I say, men, and do my best to regain my equilibrium and get back my cheerful, carefree jauntiness that I had a little while ago. It's not
Would anyone
quite
like
all
a
the way
good
there
berry?
anymore.
So
I think
Jinyo...
I'll have some
anyone-
garlic bread.
I'm sorry, what was Rohal? What did Rohal say?
Very well. I said, would anyone like a good berry?
Jinyo reaches out his hand and accepts your offer. And as you start
Ooh.
delivering them to anybody who wants them, he says, so which one of these quests are we going to do? In a very much trigger-like voice. And says that he's interested in delivering the corn, but he's also interested in going to find out what the beasties are that must be killed, which could also give a discount on that oil of sharpness that you were interested in, Rohal. So which of those two quests are most interesting? And there were other quests too, but those are the two that caught Jinyo's eye.
I'd say both of the alternatives. Could you remind us? And I will go to the bathroom.
Sure. So the two in particular, I'll read them all off, why not? So one of them is slaying some unknown creatures and saving someone. That's also the location that it's to the east, it's the far east, at an abandoned cathedral. And that's also the location at which the alchemist said if you find any ingredients or potions left behind, because he's heard rumor that there are some there, and if you give them to him, he'll cut you a better deal on the oil of sharpness that you're so interested in. The other quest is to deliver a couple of sacks of corn, and they're 300 pounds each, toward the Cresthaven windmills, also a little bit to the southeast. And you must return with a signed letter that is notarized by the farmer there. Apparently a halfling, you don't know any more information about that. There were some other things advertised, such as you can perform or dance for music at the tavern for 5 gold pieces plus tips. A deckhand is needed for a voyage to Eleneth for 8 copper pieces a day. Strong brawler is needed for physical labor, just moving some shit around for 24 silver pieces. And there was also some thieves' cant written on the wall there, but none of you were able to... Oh no, Jinyo was able to decipher it, and it recommended going to the adventurer's store for some specialty items. Also, there were 2 houses for sale. Those are the things that were listed at the Quester's Quench. Do you have an opinion on them?
She's a little interested in the one written in Thieves' Cant, but she's also aware that she doesn't really have a lot of spending cash.
Mm-hmm.
She can't exactly help with any type of heavy lifting because she's down to one arm. So that kind of limits what her options are.
Okay.
Basically, any that sound like it's something she can accomplish.
All right. Well, that narrows it down to, if you don't want to take those, and most of these appear to be group-oriented, not single person. As far as you know, you're not
Yeah.
really certain. There is the dancing and performing, and then there are the delivering 2 sacks of corn, which are 300 pounds each, to Cresthaven Windmills, which is apparently a half in farmland, or going to the abandoned cathedral to slay beasties, potentially rescue someone. There's very little information about that. And also, as a side quest, retrieve any ingredients or potions to help Rohal with his deal of the alchemist.
Yeah,
And
she's
the
not
latter
going to be
two,
able to lift that corn. She's not going to be able to fight stuff off on her own with one arm, at least not effectively. As far
Remember
as
that you have a bag
performing-
of holding.
also just to
Well,
fill
she's
you in,
not-
Yvonne, even with one arm, you have in the past fought very efficiently with a short sword. You've been in
Yeah.
a lot of combat. You just don't know because it's your first time playing the character. Namely, I think she was there when that abandoned tavern was getting surrounded by zombies. She did a good job there too, I think. But yeah,
I think
so
she had the rapier
Probably
there.
decently used to fighting with one arm. It is a risk, but yeah, she could probably manage it. She's sneaky.
okay.
I'll go for that one.
All right, Lorian, do you have anything to say about these quests, these choices? And
Oh.
keep in mind, doing none of them is also an option. You have plenty to explore in the town still. It's different
Well,
options.
Lauren,
And,
having
and
a
you can
having
scold
developed-
Joseph.
having developed a healthy savior complex, thinks like fighting some monsters and saving somebody's probably a good idea. That also pays the most, so there's that.
It does.
And Lorian is very aware that most of the people lost their gold. By the way, Lorian's gonna hand out. Let me see.
Inventory
Lorian's gonna hand out-
management.
50 gold to each party member that's here right now.
I
How
will
many
just
how many party members do we have?
Okay, so there's going to be... well, Joseph is below deck, so he's out of the conversation entirely. There's Rohal, Jinyo. Rohal has a fuck ton of money. Rohal, Jinyo, Yvonne, and...
He doesn't know that.
Rohal, Jinyo, Yvonne, Joseph is below deck, Lorian, Frid Geek is kind of moseying around there too. So Frid Geek is there as well.
So basically, I'd give away 200 gold.
And I will say that the one at the abandoned cathedral is supposed to pay 280 gold pieces. The sacks of corn, 50 silver pieces. Performing 5 silver pieces plus tips. The other ones are cheaper.
Yeah.
So that's kind of generally
So-
what you're working with.
So I've given everybody 50 gold.
Everybody please add that to your inventory and have you remove that.
Thank you.
Yep. I did.
If you guys can help add
Appreciate
that
it.
to Frid Geeks, and I think, yeah, just he's the only one who's absent at the moment. Oh, Jinyo as well. If you can, someone can do that for me.
Yeah.
Just, I don't even know if you guys have access to it. I'll remember to do it later. It's okay.
All right. Okay. Well, I think that we should go hunt down those monsters. But speaking of hunting down, does anybody? I go down to the below decks where the siren is to go see if the goat is still there. Is the goat
And-
still
Oh,
there?
s-
Would she be passing through
Yes,
the
she
map
would.
room?
Yes, she would.
I stop in the map room.
So you see, in the middle fucking thing, Joseph with his right leg over his right, his hands intertwined together in his lap, and he just silently looks at you with both working eyes now.
Is that why you did it? To get your eye back? Risked all of us? Risked everything? Risked the entire fucking world? Just to get a fucking eye? Is that why you did it? And Lorien slams her hands down on the desk and leans towards him, staring him in the eyes. Is that why you betrayed us all? Tell me.
Joseph takes up his left hand and like puts his gloved left hand like kind of touching his eyeball, and then no. It was.
Explain.
Explain. Hold on. My brain just kind of fucking farted. Hold on.
Under pressure.
If you want a moment to think, I can go down and check on the bird egg.
Yes, you can do that. So let's switch over to roll hall while Sid thinks about that. So go down there and I would say do a nature check on it.
And Momo. I suppose animal handling wouldn't do the trick.
No, it would be nature for this one particularly. Animal handling is usually like when they're sentient and present. 14. So you see that the egg, and you're a little more perceptive. In fact, do this with advantage because you're a druid who has spent much time in the wilderness. And also, off the top of your head, do you remember what type of druid you are? What region is your like special type?
It is. Wait, the one here was wrong.
That's fine. You can fix it.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix it in here. Just hold on.
Well, just tell me what it is.
It is. Yeah, I got the right one in D&D Beyond. I just need to find
It's
it.
fine. While you do that, I'm going to tell you what you see anyway. So, especially because you're a druid in those roles, you see that it has grown a little bit since you've last seen it, but the growth has slowed down. And you think that it's reaching its full maturity size for an egg, which is still weird for you because this egg is not growing like any other giant eagle egg is growing. The speckles are also different. So it's hard for you to really discern.
Okay.
It's like a unique situation, but it seems to be slowing in size, which means that traditionally, if it's a normal giant eagle egg, when it's already much bigger than a normal one, it may hatch within a few days. It could be a few weeks, but you don't think it's going to go for much more if it is going to live and if it's going to hatch. It appears to be alive, though.
Gotcha. All right. Druid circle is what you were referring to, yeah?
Yeah.
Circle of the land, parentheses, grassland.
Ooh, very cool. Okay, good to know. Very cool.
Not sure why that's very cool, but
Well, no,
I'll take it.
because I'm a DM and I know things, that's why.
very well.
Because he drinks and he knows things, really.
Because I know things.
All right.
So,
I
back to
assume I
Joseph,
can't
I
make
guess.
any kind of.
sorry.
I assume I can't make any form of estimate as to when it will.
You're thinking anywhere between 1 to 7 days, but then again, this is an unusual circumstance with this egg. It's very unusual, this one. So you're not sure.
All right. Do I know if any in the party might have any better insight than I do
You think
in
that
regards
you're,
to birds and eggs?
You think that you're the best one. Even Lorien, who has lots of education, you don't think she has spent as much time learning things from books about nature as you have learned as a druid from your own personal experience and what you've been taught through your lineage. I will also say the egg is pretty big at this point. It's about as big and as heavy as a halfling, if not bigger. It's like bigger than an average halfling, so it's like pretty big and heavy. It's bigger than Conrad Thorngage, for example.
All right. I see. I shall keep it in mind. Have you come to think of what you were thinking of saying, Joseph?
Sid.
I was actually just wanting to ask also Steve. Betrayal is possibly a right word for what I did, right?
You could really interpret what you did in many different ways, depending on who's looking at it. I would say that you definitely took risks. I think that all around is an accurate statement, no matter who looks at it.
So, Lorien, could you please repeat what you said?
Oh, you want me to fucking remember what I said?
I'll summarize. She basically appears to be upset. She appears to feel betrayed. She wants to know why you did it. Was it because you just wanted to repair your eye and endanger everyone's life for that? She wants to know why you did that, and she perceives what you did as very risky and a betrayal to everybody.
I know what I did is quite risky. I wouldn't go as far to say it was betrayal, for it wasn't meant to harm any of you. And no, the eye was just a byproduct of what I did, which I do say was very selfish, and I did risk everyone here. I was not thinking straight, which is kind of a no shit moment, right? As he sits there, his hands are like intertwined again, but he's like tapping his thumbs together and kind of like looking down as in shame.
So, what did you do? Tell me about the guards you pulled and what they did.
He kind of like sighs. Do you only want to hear it, or shall we gather everyone? And then he looks up at you. Or shall I just speak it to you right now?
I'm gonna sit down. Let's just talk, you and I, right now.
Okay. Do I also notice that Lauren is a little bit different after the
You cannot tell at this moment in time, because the glow that she had is a little bit interrupted by her concern over the situation.
No.
So, do you want to know why I did it, right?
That's right.
You might think I'm a madman if I would say, but the timeline you remember isn't exactly what happened back at the rift.
She
And the
sucks
rope
in a breath.
bridge.
Man, this is one hell of a truth bomb. Anyway, go on.
What did you do? What did you change?
Changed time. I changed a person's death.
Her eyes widen in shock. Whose?
The one who now can speak. Yvonne.
Yvonne. A
She
little
died.
glimmer of understanding flickers in Lorian's eyes.
Lorian, make an insight
She's-
roll. Sorry, go on.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
No, you can continue talking. Just roll as you do.
Alright, but I remember, Steve, that Lorian did notice there was something between the two of them. And I just rolled a 22.
So before you continue, I will
20.
say that with a 22, and being that Joseph hasn't always had the best poker face just from his previous roles, you don't see any deceit in his demeanor right now or his voice. And you also understand in your own adventures the power of the deck. You know that it is not like it's not a hoax. It really has some unspeakable power. So yeah, carry on.
Yeah, go on. Go on, Joseph.
She was the one who sacrificed herself at the rift. Uh-oh.
No, sorry, go.
She was the one who sacrificed... Oh god.
Sorry.
I saw
Go on.
that... Oh god.
Multicolored.
Nice. I'm sorry. sorry,
Which
just
channel is this
totally-
in? I'm sorry.
Derailed everything because
The background.
our Swedish elf
Oh,
has a whole
I
bunch
missed
of
it. I was pacing in my house. I didn't look at it.
Collection
Yeah.
of ropes.
Oh,
a
okay.
collection of different colored ropes on his bed behind him. And he's-
I see it now. Shit, I wasn't paying attention.
yeah. You know, my ass immediately like tracked to that.
Completely derailed.
I'm
this
so
moment.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Russian god.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Oh,
so
yeah.
go ahead, please tell us your harrowing story.
Bruh. Basically, Joseph says that, you know, at first it wasn't Ulrich who was sacrificed at the rift. Yvonne took her own life there.
Good gods. You You really care for her, don't you?
Joseph's jaw clenches. You can see like the muscles clench where the jaw is.
Lorian nods to herself. The body language being answer enough.
He looks down. I drew 6 cards.
You what? It echoes across the galleon. You what?
So everybody doesn't have to make a roll. They can all hear that from above.
It's actually not really below decks. It's like in here.
Yeah, it's the side room there. It's technically the same level as the deck, but behind a closed door. If it is closed, that is.
6 cards! Here, 6
That also
cards!
that also echoes.
How are we still alive? How the fuck? What the fu- Oh, and Lorian
A little smile, a small smile comes across Joseph's face, and he looks up and says, "Devil's own luck, I guess."
she
This guy's getting
buries her
cocky
face
now.
in her hands, one eye peering out.
Wait,
Maybe I should have cooked you.
And the smile kind of fades. And now, excuse me, as I try to remember exactly what those words. 6 cards. Could you please put up the picture of the deck again, Steve, so I can more
Sure.
easily remember the names? of
Sure.
the
It's
cards?
also in your notes as well on Roll20, but I will pull it up as well. 1 second here.
Hold on.
It should be in
Uh,
your
Okay, yeah, I
notes
found it.
and
Hold on.
items tab, but I'll pull it up so everyone can see it.
I found it. Yeah, okay.
But I have the power to share it, so give me a second. Here we go.
6 cards of the deck. The Knight, the Fates, the Gem, the Jester, the Vizier, the Sun. Wait, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one was more.
Gem, I think. Did you mention Gem?
No,
No, he mentioned Jim.
So Knight, Gem, Fate, Jester, Vizier, Sun.
That's 6.
That's 6, yeah. Those were the cards I pulled.
And what did each of them do?
I believe the Knight was the one that fixed my eye. The Vizier told me how I can use the power of the Fates. The Fates being the card that allowed me to change one moment in time, which allowed me to change the scene at the rope bridge where first you and Friedgeek decided to sacrifice Arik, the god of war, leading to the sacrifice of Ivan. I changed the facts, as you remember now, but you decided that you were persuaded to take Ulrich as a hostage, to later luckily be used as the sacrifice to close the rift.
Which I also uttered the name of Horror
Yes,
and sacrifice for.
and that is the timeline you now remember. I remember you killing him, sacrificing him to the god of horror at the rope bridge, and us going to the rift and Ivan killing, sacrificing himself, and I didn't like that. And like I said, this was a very selfish thing. I was too tempted by the power of the deck, so I did sneak in to Falmina's room and took it with the full intent of returning it. But of course, now that I'm with a lot more cleaner mind, I understand what sort of danger I put us all into, for it could have destroyed the whole boat and all the unconscious people on board.
Are the others coming below
Go.
deck when they hear her shout? Or sorry, not below deck, but in the side room there, when they hear
Ready.
Lorian shout? I will say that Jinyo and
Yvonne's gonna
Fridgeek start
keep the
going.
deck
Sorry.
closer, but not necessarily go down yet.
Okay. I would say Jinyo and Fridgeek do step into the room, and they just sort of curiously listen in if they are allowed to by the two of you.
And what did the next card do?
Joseph kind of looks at Genie and Friedkick a little bit, and
When he looks
So
at them,
what
he
is
can
all-
tell that they are immediately understanding that this is you explaining what happened, and they listen quietly.
so I explained the knight, the fates, and the vizier. Jester was the one that turned into a goat. The gem is where I got those things that Rohal put into his pouch. And a little bit of bitterness comes in. A little bit of bitterness comes into his face. I already had plans for those, mind you. I had plans. The sun. I actually can't remember what the sun did.
The
That was your
sun.
blessing.
That was the
Oh,
blessing.
the
like,
blessing, yeah.
which is
Gone already, yeah.
Has it been 24 hours? Yeah, it's been 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's gone.
And
now.
the sun, I guess, just blessed me. I was a very blessed goat. So yeah, I accept any punishment you give me for what I did is... And it looks up into your eyes again. It was quite something. So if you throw me off the ship and out of the group, maybe even hand me into the Thieves Guilds for I have a bounty on my head, then I accept your decision. And now he just kind of like silently looks at you, his hands. He isn't tapping his thumbs anymore, now he's just looking at you silently.
I grip your chin in my hand, and I say,
You can already see the negative reaction, like
"Oh, I
he's,
know.
like, trying,
Oh, I
he's trying to
know."
he's trying to hold back a gag.
And I say,
he-
I understand that love could be a kind of madness. I understand that temptation can eat away with you. But how can we ever possibly trust you again? Can you give me a good reason to not throw you off this ship?
His eyes go away for a little bit. He kind of like takes his hand and tries to like, with his two fingers, tries to like kind of like push your hand away so he can speak a little bit more clearly, because he can't really speak if he wants to gag every time.
I let go, not very gently.
So with the door open, Yvonne can hear the majority of the conversation. At the beginning, she did hear, but it was a little muffled. But she made out the most of it. And so can Rohal. Since Jinyo opened the door, it's much more audible.
He breathes in and breathes out. Well, you already have 2 rogues on board who can lockpick. Not sure if I'm better or worse than them. But the honest answer, no. I can't give you any of the reason. Except, I guess, for me to try to redeem myself in your eyes. In all of your eyes. I have no solid reason to give you why you should keep me on board. There really wasn't any reason for me to tag along, it just happened.
Did Yvonne hear any of this?
Well, as I mentioned, I don't know if my mic is still coming through. She was able to hear the conversation.
How
And is
much of it? Did she hear, like, what cards he drew, or did she just come in for the give me a reason part?
So before Jinyo opened the door, it was very muffled and you only had pieces of it. But once he opened the door, you were able to hear everything clearly. So you did hear the reason why. You did hear the reason why.
No. He actually didn't, because that was before
Okay.
I
yeah.
said that you're 6 cards, to which Lorian shouted.
Fair enough.
But
mean,
I
she-
did mention
she-
I
she heard-
mentioned
she
love
heard-
though.
And she heard her name muffled through the door several times.
Oh yeah, and
So
just,
No,
She
you
knows it
described
has-
you described after I said 6 cards, you did describe again. what
I
each
just-
card did, including the. Including
Oh,
the
he said he used it to change fate, but not necessarily what for.
Fair enough.
oh, okay.
I said, yeah, I basically just changed the fact that Ivan didn't die, and then you said that love can be maddening and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, he says that. He basically says that he really can't give you a solid. Actually, he might. Wait, hold on. Let me get back into the fucking role.
Hey,
I
give
can't
me that.
find. I can't. I can't really give you a good reason why you should keep me around, except I do have melted into my mind a map, which I believe we need. I don't remember if Redkick wrote it down or drew it down somewhere, but some knowledge that Rommel doesn't want. It's the sole reason why I have a bounty on my head amongst the Thieves Guilds is that I have a certain map in my brain considering a certain location of a thing unknown to me, but I know where it is. It was in what plane was it in again? Basically hell, correct?
No, not in hell. Plane of Ash. And second of all, as you mentioned that, Rollhall starts to notice the area on his hand that was branded so many years ago. I believe it was 20 years ago. I could be wrong. Starts to ache slightly, almost unnoticeably. But the mention of a map, which is similar to his experience that Rollhall went through, but a different experience. That one had to do more to do with the hellscape level of the abyss. That part of his hand is aching, almost like a slight burning, like poison ivy. But yeah, you were saying, or Joseph.
And that is the only reason I can give you why you should keep me around, but broken trust is something that I cannot fix by myself, at least for you. I can try it, but I don't expect you to either forgive me or trust me ever again. For I know what I did, and it was selfish.
I'm trying to figure out how earnest and honest he's really being.
So it's the same insight roll, and he appears to be telling the truth. Unless, Joseph, you have to tell me out of character if you're purposely deceiving, but I don't think you are. You can tell me.
I don't think I told anything deceiving right here.
Okay. So then that's how he comes across based on your roll, Lorian.
Okay. Can I see Yvonne?
No. But the door is slightly ajar and she's on top deck. I don't know how actively she's listening, or if she's just listening because it's passive, but...
As
Yvonne?
soon as she heard her own name mentioned, she started fairly actively listening.
Okay,
Yeah,
then you
I'm
can
gonna
hear pretty
call-
much everything.
I'm gonna call Yvonne. Can you come down here a moment?
She startles pretty bad when you call her because she thinks, she got caught listening in. But she does. She does
didn't, but
slink down the stairs and join you guys, but she doesn't come all the way through the doorway. She's like hanging out in the doorway.
Joseph actually
Oh.
stands up when he sees Ivan, like
And-
kind of like as in the olden days as gentlemen did when a woman enters a room, they stand up.
But not when Lorian
Yvonne
did.
is-
Note taken.
Specifically, not looking at Joseph.
Rohal, by the way, looked at the aching area on his hand.
Yes, and so he doesn't see anything different there, but he does feel something different.
Do I recognize the feeling?
Remind me, did you ever have the total curse come into fruition at any point in your backstory?
No.
Okay,
It was literally just in the situation, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so all you know is that it's slightly aching, and your own medicine, your own knowledge of medicine indicates that it's not caused by anything else than perhaps this strange branding or curse that you've had.
I don't remember if I was I aware of.
You
of the
did see
curse,
it. You did see it go on your hand. You don't know what it was, but you saw for a brief moment. It was like it appeared to be a map with some abyssal symbols and names of locations when you were in
Right,
when you were in the hellscape when you were saving the tiefling baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you were escaping it.
Right.
You were escaping the minions of an unknown demon lord.
Exactly. Right. Everyone saw that, right? We.
Yes, you shared minds.
Right. So I would remember that area from
Yeah.
that situation as well.
Yeah, and you also
Right.
had the ability to reanalyze it and relive it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to Lorien.
Joseph sits back down again as he sees that Yvonne is not looking at her, and so that he kind of like looks at her for a little bit and starts sitting down again a bit slowly.
So, you did what you did out of love. Here's your penance. You need to tell her exactly what you did. And then she'll decide if you stay or go. As it is, after all, her autonomy that you robbed. In a way.
Joseph again puts his hands together and puts it in his lap and looks at the table.
Yvonne is actually looking a little frightened now.
Joseph breathes in and out a few times silently. And he actually takes off his hat and puts it on the table. Looks towards Ivan and with his right hand gestures to a chair across from the table.
Yvonne does not move from the doorway. She does look and finally meet your eye, and she's looking pretty pale, and so soft you can barely hear it. She whispers, "What did you do?"
Joseph holds your glance a little bit. He brings his hand back and looks at the table again, kind of like rubbing his gloved hands, and says, "I basically brought you back from the dead," and looks back up at you, by changing a point in time.
You brought me back from the dead?
Joseph knows about the amnesia part, right? That Yvonne
Yes.
has.
A little bit.
Yeah,
You're not
she-
entirely certain about. Well, she did mention that she had patches of memory that were hazy, but you don't know
Can I make
too much
Can
about.
I make the Can I make the connections that it might have been this?
Yeah,
It probably
yes,
was.
Yes, you can. You don't even have to roll for that. You just don't know like what parts she remembers or doesn't, and she doesn't even know what parts she remembers or doesn't. You just know the two timelines from your perspective, Joseph.
Are you still wondering why you have some patches of memory missing? I changed the timeline that resulted in you sacrificing yourself and closing the rift. Shortly after. Never mind that part. Let's just say it didn't sit right with me.
So when he says this, Yvonne, you search your own thoughts and feelings, and as a player, you determine whether or not you think where you are in this time and place that was something feasible. Do you think that's believable from your point in time that you may have given yourself up and sacrificed yourself for the greater good? You do have the heavy guilt from your childhood of what you did to escape the hag.
Yeah.
So you do have that
She-
knowledge. So you
At
think
this
that this
point,
could be feasible.
She thinks it would be feasible. That is
Okay.
something, and she had considered it. Like, she had been there considering it when they had the other person killed.
So
in
that
her
being
stead.
said, I would like you to make a will save, please.
Okay.
Oh god. It's going to stab me, right?
Um, Which one is that? Is that wisdom?
It should be somewhere near. Well, not wisdom, but will save.
Save
It's
throw.
near the top left. The saving throw. It won't be a base wisdom, but it'll be a wisdom saving throw. It's up near the
Wisdom
top
save.
left, if I remember. A small little window with circle.
Yeah, just underneath
It's-
proficiency bonus.
And it's right above all the skills that you have.
It's above all the
Yeah, so
proficiencies.
I see strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma.
Sorry,
Would it be
dude.
wisdom?
My bad. Constitution save. Sorry.
Okay.
It's kind of the same thing, but
Ooh, not one.
Oh,
unfortunately, with that
Great.
roll, you are going to burst into uncontrollable tears and weep into your hands. Of
Yeah,
the
that
thought
sounds
that
about
you,
right.
yeah, because it's
Just-
very overwhelming to realize that in a parallel timeline, you did actually redeem yourself
Yeah.
by
She
taking
followed
your
through.
own life.
And that got stolen from her. And I think
Joseph,
she's
see,
probably
it's
going to
just-
leave the room without another word.
Just seeing that he kind of like stands up, thinks about going after her, but stops himself and like kind of just stands there looking at the door, his hands hanging by his sides. And he just sighs.
Lorian wraps her arms around herself and looks down at the floor.
He takes his hat by the brim from the table, puts it back, puts it on his head, looks at Lorian, now which is a little bit more back to his usual stern look. Happy.
Not one bit.
And Rohal, you see Yvonne weeping, and she moves past you. Do you
it's good
do you
for
stand there?
her.
Do you let her go by? What do you do in that situation, Rohal? I want to give everybody a chance to have their own reactions.
When she walks past, I do what I wrote in the chat.
Oh, sorry. I'm actually stretching my legs. Let me see. Okay, so you flicks a good berry to Joseph, or is that a different chat?
Sorry, at Joseph,
Okay, yeah.
not you. At.
I don't know if Joseph would like to catch that. If he would, he will make a dexterity saving throw.
I would
Wait,
actually
wouldn't it
like
be?
to-
Yeah,
I
it would be
actu-
dexterity. Sorry.
I would actually like to counter flick it.
Counter flick it. I mean, you should catch it with your mouth.
Counter
feed you all day.
flick it. Okay, so then, in that case, it's still a dex saving throw. So go ahead, do it.
So as it's flying, I would try to flick it somewhere else.
It flicks to the side of the room and rolls on the floor.
What a waste of a good berry. And then walk out.
As you walk out, I say,
Welcome back, though.
"I would like my gems back, thank you."
Yeah, so he
I'm
says
already
that.
outside. I can't hear that.
Fucking audacity.
As
right there.
you're going outside.
I pretend not to hear that.
Breaks a woman's soul
Keep
and then
walking.
asks for his fucking money. This guy.
I'm gonna grab Joseph's shoulder. If there's
Yeah, I
nothing
mean-
else you bring to the table, it sure the fuck is the audacity. And then I walk past.
Yvonne, where do you go? Where do you go after you storm out of the room?
She's gonna go up to the crow's nest in that front sail and just kind of sink down to sit on the ground with her back against it so she can't be seen from anywhere on the ship. And just cry.
Oh. Did anybody see her go up there?
Fruity Geek and Jinyo did.
I'm gonna, are there extra blankets in my captain's cabin, Steve?
Yes, there are like 2 or 3.
Is it a cool day or a hot day?
It is a cool day. This place is much warmer than Northold, but still brisk, especially in the morning. And up top's Crow's Nest, you believe there'd be more of a breeze. Also, roll
Okay, I'm gonna
hall.
grab- Go ahead.
Can you make a nature roll, and we'll get right back to you, Lorian. Sorry, this is just regarding the
Yeah,
weather.
no worries.
Let's see here. Looking for roll hall's nature roll.
Sorry. That was the wrong
Was it
one.
roasting Joseph?
Short bow shoots Yvonne.
Yeah, no. Right. What was it?
Timeline
Nature.
straight again?
You said-
Nature. Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
Got a lot of druid action this session. Okay, 15. So Rohal, you know that even though
Like a third 15 I am.
the sky is pleasant now and the weather is pleasant now, you think that maybe in the next day and a half there may be hurricanes coming in from the west. You also realize this may harm or interrupt the supposed wedding that's lined up, but also would make seafaring almost impossible, at least in the next day or 2 days. But yeah, the skies are clear now with a moderate breeze. Back to you, Lorian.
Okay.
Hold on. Do I? I don't know Yvonne basically at all, do I?
You've been journeying with her since Gryold. But you haven't split.
But her
the
past.
You do not
I don't
know the
know
past,
much about her.
especially because the timeline changed. And to be honest with you, a lot of the adventures that Yvonne has had just coincidentally have been somewhat split from you. Like, you have been dealing with other adventures, like, while she was dealing with other adventures. So you haven't, like, really gotten to know her intimately.
Okay. Well, it's not really intimately that I am looking for. It's more about what's it called?
What I mean is intimate knowledge. Like, okay, I know your
understand.
backstory.
I
know.
understand.
yeah.
I understand.
I don't mean intimate, like,
it's more
relationship-wise.
about
Yeah.
the egg creating a. That was gonna sound funny, but getting asking her to see whether she knows anything about the egg and get her under the deck to check it out and not be where she is right now.
You can certainly try.
That's my idea.
Okay.
But I think Lorian was about to do something real quick first. You guys can talk it out.
Yeah.
I'd say bump into each
go
other.
for it.
I would say you
Okay.
you interact with each other on top deck, you and Lorian and Rohal, if you want to figure out what the plan is.
I'd like to talk to her a little bit first.
Very well. Go for it.
So I pull a. I don't mean to stop you from being able to roleplay though, Rose. If you.
It's all fine. I mean, it was more with a specific purpose of asking and getting her, down rather than.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't have to come down
Fire away.
immediately. It's like a day before hurricanes become. So.
That being said, Jinyo does go down and kind of runs his hand across the egg, and you can tell that he's like sort of enamored by it. He's like, man, there was nothing like riding that eagle. And he's just kind of like checking the egg out and remembering riding the eagle. But yeah, go back to you, Lorian.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
follow him down.
I pull a spare blanket out of the chest, and I'm gonna go ahead and cast fly, cause I don't want to climb that, and I'm a filthy fucking wizard.
Okay.
And that's weird. Why can't? Okay, there we go.
So you gently float up there.
Gently float up there with the blanket, and does she look up at me?
Ask her.
No.
No.
Okay.
She's
Well, I'm
got her arms kind of like she's got her knees tucked up against her chest and her arms are folded on her knees and her head is just buried in her arms and you can see her shoulders shaking, but she doesn't even look up.
I'm gonna kind of take that blanket, wrap it around her, and then sit next to her. I'm gonna stay quiet for a few minutes.
Okay.
And say,
Sorry, go on.
we can go down to Rohal if he wants to do stuff.
No, I wasn't. I didn't know you were going to say something. I apologize. Go on.
How dare I put a blanket on you?
No, him
Oh,
reminding you I've only got one arm.
Oh,
Forgetting that.
Oh yeah. Right. So I say it's a lot harder, isn't it? It's harder to face things than leave. I know you feel like you could have made up for what happened. But really it would have been running away, wouldn't it have?
She looks up slowly to meet your gaze, and her eyes are red. She has tears streaked over her cheeks. You don't understand, Lorien. I did it. In that other timeline, I made up for what I'd done. I followed through, and I actually made up for everything I've done wrong. And I just had all that snatched away. And I will never get that opportunity again. I'm stuck living the rest of my life with my sins because I will never be able to make up for them.
Prescient? Do you think you're the only one here that's ever made a mistake? That's had tragic consequences?
It wasn't a mistake.
Tell me. Tell me about it.
And as Lorien says that, she briefly recalls trying so hard to save those slaves from the sinking ship and many of them not making it through because she wasn't
Absolutely.
fast or strong enough. And she remembers that she has lots of blood on her hands, whether it was intentional or not. And she had life slip away, innocent life slip away at a moment. Carry on.
When
Yeah.
Lorien tell her about it, Yvonne just lets out a really deep breath and then just leans her head forward against her arm again. It's a little patchy still. The one thing I remember clearly. When I was a child, my best friend and I got captured. And I had the choice. I could either stay and try to save her, or run and save my own life. And I picked the coward's way out, and I let her die.
And how old were you?
She was about 11.
So you were an 11-year-old child. You were a child. Yvonne.
I was old enough to have known better.
No. How can you think that's your fault? How can a child save another child from savage adults?
I could have tried.
And then you would have just died too. Yvonne, you didn't kill her. It was them. They did it. Not you. Do you understand me? You've been carrying this guilt for so long. You were a helpless child. You could not have saved her. Do you understand
I died
me?
with her.
Why? What good would that have done? What would that have done for the world? What would that have done for you? Or for her? Do you think she would have wanted you to die instead of live? Do you really?
The only thing I could have possibly done for the world with my life was taken away from me.
And how do you know that? Do you think all is lost? No. That was the easy way out. That was an easy answer. But it wasn't the only answer, Yvonne. It wasn't the only answer. First of all, this is not your guilt to carry. You did not kill your friend. You didn't do it. You might not understand that in your heart yet. But as you get older, I hope that someday you will. But there are so many things you can do in this world, so many good things. And did you ever stop to consider that maybe your life in and of itself has value? That you deserve to live, that you deserve joy, and being a victim as a child, and a victim is exactly what you were, does not change that.
As Lorien says this, Yvonne, you think about how for so many years you acted as Merrick Rommel's pawn in the Thieves' Guild, thinking that because you were so helpless and because you deserved whatever was given to you, being useful to someone else was the only purpose that you had. Doing many of the terrible things and robbing and proving yourself to the Thieves' Guild for all those years. That's running through your head as Lorien says this.
Yvonne. Go ahead.
She shakes her head a little bit and doesn't look up.
To live is to change. To live is to grow. You still live. You can still change. You can still grow. You can still become something so great, so wonderful, so beautiful. I know you have a good heart, because if you didn't, you wouldn't give a fuck. I know you can do good in this world, Yvonne. And I'm glad you're still here. Even though it's the hard way. I'm so glad you're still here. And I wrap my arms around her.
Yeah, Yvonne does turn and hug you in return. Now she's just sobbing into your chest instead.
Aw.
And sorry, I
rock
was
her
just
gently.
filling Roll Holland in some backstory of an item he has. In the meantime,
That's fine.
he's down by the egg, and as I mentioned, Jinio is admiring it and just reliving the experience of riding the giant eagle, which he loved so much. But the egg seems to be quite calm, and if you rest your hand on it, every so often, almost like a pregnant belly, you can sense some movement, but nothing more. I would say if no one has any pressing matters, time passes. I would say an hour or two, there's a lot of truth bombs that happened, a lot of emotions based on the result of some questing. I think the party needs a moment. I think everyone kind of senses that. And if everyone is okay with that, I would say some time passes before the party considers what to do next. Because lots going on. Ev, don't forget you did spend that spell slot for flight.
Yep,
So that being said,
I put that in the party.
I'll say it is morning still, but you're approaching 9 a.m. You guys are fairly early risers as adventurers. So after the time passes, it's about 9 a.m.
Regarding what I wrote in the chat.
Let me double check. In which chat? The Roll20 or Discord?
Be right
Roll
back.
20.
Okay, let's see. Walks to the back of the deck, pulls out longbow. Okay. Ooh. Pulls out rope and ties it to the arrow, shoots the arrow into the water. Okay. You do that, and the arrow... So you're talking about the arrow that regenerates from the bow, the one that always replenishes, right?
Replenishes, yeah.
It goes down into the water, and it starts to slow its descent because of the friction of the water, but it seems to drop down, and as a druid you sense that it is of a typical depth for this close to shore. It goes down about, let's say, about 60, 70 feet, maybe a little more, which you can convert that to meters. But D&D is kind of a feet-based game. But yeah, about that deep. I would say about 60, 70 meters. Feet.
What
sorry.
happens with the arrow and rope?
The rope, is it a silk rope or is it a hempen rope?
I think it's a hemp.
Okay, hemp is a little more coarse, a little thicker.
Yeah.
So it'll be very hard to even feel the arrow on that thicker rope, as the arrow is designed to be quite light.
Is it so? The replenishment does it result in a new arrow being replenished, or is it like a form of teleportation where the arrow would stay in the water attached to the rope, but a new arrow is replenished in the quiver?
This is something that you would have tested before. And as far as you know, as soon as you pull another arrow from the quiver, the other arrow disappears in approximately 6 seconds.
What?
Gotcha. Right. That was that.
Sid, did you say? Oh, welcome back, Sid. Okay, so it's been some time, and what would the party like to do? The world is your oyster. A dangerous oyster that's constantly trying to kill you and demoralize you.
I want to fucking drink, but no. In the game. Yeah, so, now, does Yvonne seem like she's doing any better. I'm whispering stuff to her like, we're gonna face this world together, and we're gonna see if we can save it. And it might not be the easy way, but it's the best way. And I'm glad that she's there, etc. I'm being very soothing and doing my best to be encouraging, because I'm realizing now that she's spent her entire life punishing herself for something that happened to her as a child, that she was the victim. And I'm telling her this as best I can, that she's punishing herself for being a victim as a child, and that she can let that go. She can stop doing that. She doesn't need to die or prove herself or do anything to make things right, because it was never her burden to carry in the first place. And before my fly spell is up, I'd like to see if she'll let me, she's pretty tiny, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to see if she'll like hold on to me and let me fly her back down.
She will.
Okay.
You do so without rolling.
Yeah. And I'll tell her she doesn't have to carry this burden alone anymore.
She falls and breaks both her legs. Now she has a missing arm and 2 broken legs. I'm kidding.
Fuck you, Steve.
I'm joking.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
Yeah, Yvonne is basically just latched onto you, and this is the first time she's really ever been told any of that, so she's doing a lot of processing right now.
I bet.
She's definitely having a hard time believing most of it, but she does appreciate that you're saying it.
I contemplate tucking her into my bed. Think about last night. Change directions. Tuck her in her own bed and sit with her for a bit. Anyway, go on, Steve.
As you two land your feet on the top deck, you see Jinyo pacing back and forth with his hand on the hilt of his sword, which is sheathed, and he looks energized and ready to go questing. And he says, "So what have we decided?" As if ignoring a lot of the emotional tension that has passed in the past hour and a half.
As I'm carrying this, weepy Yvonne past, I say, "Well, I'm for hunting down the monsters and saving somebody."
He says,
Seems
"That's
like
exactly
a good
what I
start.
was thinking." That's exactly what I was thinking, he says.
Yeah, see if the rest of them are up for that too. And then I go below decks.
Joseph stands up and goes to his room.
You are in your room now.
And a lot of thoughts and emotions are going through him as well. A lot of guilt, anger towards himself, feeling stupid, for there most likely was another way to bring her back that would not have ended up in her fucking trying to cry her eyes out.
Lorien said not to hang yourself. Which would be that would be an interesting twist to events.
Don't hang yourself, goddammit.
Okay, Joseph, continue the inner monologue. I'm
ahead.
curious to see where this goes. And Pretty Geek does respond to your hall, but I'll get to that in a minute.
What?
Nothing, I'm responding to chat. I shouldn't do that. Go on, Joseph.
He starts looking through his bag
Okay.
and looks all the stupid tools he has in there and like thinking like, what the fuck am I going to ever do with this? And he comes across a razor. You remember? So yeah, this is the razor that I got from the captain thingy. He does take open the blade, and on the blade he looks at his reflection with he like looks at his eyes. He does
So-
think for a second.
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
He does think that maybe it doesn't deserve this eye. And the razor blade starts moving towards his face. But he stops. He closes the blade and puts it back. He takes his cloak of many fashions, his goggles of night, has his rapier and stuff on him, and before he goes, he spots something gold and familiar in his bag. The good old necrotic box, and ow, that fucking sound is so goddamn loud.
What sound?
The sound of the chat, can I turn it off?
The sound of
somehow?
his guilt, his
The
conscience.
sound of my yeah, sound of my guilt. And he actually picks up the necrotic box, holds it in his hands and looks at it.
You see the pines carved into the side, and as I mentioned, hidden between the pines, something that would not be noticed at first glance, are the shape of skulls. It's heavy, about 15 pounds or more. It's cumbersome. Even in your pack, it's rather cumbersome. You always have to make sure it's in the center of your pack when moving.
He puts it back in the pack.
Rohal asks Fridgeek about enchanting, and Fridgeek says, I would be happy to enchant a couple of your items, but I will have to stay back on the ship while you go on the bounty, on the quest.
No. That's not it. It's about enchanting, how to enchant, and what is required.
So he says, depending on the nature of the enchantment, it might just require time, and some things that are a bit stranger or more powerful might require certain ingredients or metals.
Understood. So, is it related to the particular items that are required to use a spell, or are there other more like rare items required?
So I will say out of character, just because I'm adding flavor to it. Because when I play him as an NPC, I fudge what the character can do. So when he's being played by Chris in character, he has to just go by the bounds of what the character can do, which is usually time and a limitation of how many things he can be focused to and things like that. But when I'm playing him as an NPC, I add a little flexibility to that, and a little more flavor text like material components. So he basically says that the more powerful and rare the enchantment, the rarer and the more specific the metal ingots that he will need to have for the process. But everything takes time.
Understood. And the choice of enchantment?
So out of character, I'm gonna have to literally look at his sheet. It's the artificers are based on a list of spells based on their skill. So what are you looking for in particular? He asks.
Well, first off, whether it is possible to attach a spell to a particular item. Second off, perhaps bettering this the bow that I am using, making
Let's
the bow that I'm
see.
using better.
So he's level. You guys are level 8 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that character sheet still needs to be leveled.
Are we? I thought we were 9.
No. 8.
No, 8.
No, that was my other D&D game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm. So with level 8, he can do a maximum of Flash of Genius, so he can... let's see here. This is probably going to take a moment, Rose, if you want him to give you like a flavor answer for now. He said I think they can probably do a +1 though. I have to read on the whole character ability for an artificer.
All right.
I'll be honest, I've never played an artificer, so it's going to take me an extra minute as a DM to read the specifics.
We can go through it later. It was more like overall of interest because I was also considering making objects for the team that might be useful. For example, less restoration for common objects or something like that, or cure wounds and whatnot.
So I will say, if you want to leave things with him, And if you go questing, we can, between sessions, work on how he will enchant them. And I may be able to bend them a little if he's played as an NPC, just for flavor and for storytelling.
Sure.
So that way we won't take everyone's time, because I admit I'm not
Yeah,
as
no,
sharp.
exactly. That's kind of what I meant.
I'm not as sharp with artificers, so it would take me a moment. But yeah, if you want to leave specific items with him, and he'll stay back from the quest, enchanting.
All right. Sounds good.
Cool. All right. So what is the party going to do?
Well, I assume that we have an eager individual who's asking everyone what we like if we're intrigued to go kill some people or kill some creatures. No? Jinyo?
Jinyo seems quite interested. He does. And Fridgeek is interested in having a look at some of the items that you are inquiring about and studying them and seeing what he can do. I don't know how Yvonne, Joseph, and Lorien feel. It seems like the other crew members are quite busy in the town doing their own thing, the other crew members being NPCs. And some of them are still being tended to in the infirmary, and we have news that they're doing well.
Feel about what? I'm sorry, I was talking to my partner for a moment.
About going to go do a romping quest. Romping out to do a quest.
Well, I absolutely am down for trying to rescue somebody. Do we think that that quest is... How far away is it, though? Because we do have a wedding to attend in 2 days. And by the way, did Rohal share what he learned about the hurricane coming?
No.
Joseph walks out to the deck.
Of course he didn't.
Joseph is present.
Druids. Alright, well, I have no idea that there's a hurricane coming, so I ask about any details about that monster quest, like how far away it is.
So I will say, because we did cut a little short last time, that Rohal got information from the barkeep that he thinks that abandoned cathedral is about a 4 to 5 hour hike, and you're going to eventually have to go through a small forested area and some grassland. Rocky grassland.
Can you use your bird? Your familiar?
My
Take
familiar?
a little hike? Yeah.
I could send my owl to scout and see if you can figure out how long of a walk it is, because we do want to be back.
Well, let's see what its fly speed is, because it might not be that much faster than walking. Let's see here. What is it? An hour?
It doesn't really
or
matter
eagle?
though. I mean, from a height.
But I mean, you could go up high
it
and
sees
look.
everyone. Yeah.
Yes, you can go high.
Yeah.
Certainly, the sky is clear. The day is clearish, for sure. There's definitely some storm clouds in the far distance, very far. You can see them, but they're not anywhere near you.
All right. Well, that's good to know too, since our druid didn't tell us.
He just knows more specifics about wind and timing.
If If we would have gotten further in the discussion of how long it takes to go, I would have mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, let's assume that we're going to talk about that and how long it takes.
Wait, where is Lorien and Rohal right now?
I would say they're top deck, unless they specify otherwise. Is Yvonne
girl.
top deck or resting below deck, or what is Yvonne doing?
Yvonne is probably in her room recollecting herself and cleaning up a bit.
Okay.
Yvonne is processing. Lorien did come back up deck.
Very well.
Joseph is also then back up deck.
Joseph,
What do I
give
know?
me-
Birds and imprinting. I was just gonna.
What do you know about what?
Birds and imprinting.
Birds and imprinting. Okay, so you know that just like some other species, the bird, the giant eagles, when they are first born, they tend to be very platonic, family-oriented, not necessarily large clan or solo. So they are likely to see the first caring individuals as like parent figures or trustworthy figures. And they tend to be good in nature, giant eagles. They tend to be good. I mean, they are also carnivorous, so they will eat, innocent, like goats, for example. But so they do kill and eat things, but they are good-natured overall.
Yeah, gotcha. I will talk to Friedgek and see if he can, before we depart anywhere, construct something that would ease the process of carrying the egg, because I don't want to keep it longer in the bag of holding. Also, it would require some heating capabilities, some mild heating capabilities, for example, through gold, like through a metal that is attached to the sides of the carrier.
I think Lorien has, I could be wrong, a scroll of enlarge or reduce size. I could be wrong. Her inventory is too damn big. But as far as Friedgeek, I don't think that Artificer at that level can do that. I don't know. I'll be flat honest with you. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, it's not like I'm asking him to create a spell. It's more like just physically creating an object. I thought he was good at that too. I feel like he's tinkery.
An object to deal with the size of it or the warmth of it?
Just holding it and perhaps having a channel in which you can... Yeah.
So Lorien has, I believe, a Tensor's floating disc. I could be wrong. And if it's a spell, how long does that last for, Lorien? And would you be able to... That would be able to carry the weight of it.
Right, that's a fair point, yeah.
I think it's concentration. I think it lasts an hour. Give me a moment. Like I said, I was AFK.
That's fine. Yeah. So Tensor's floating disc, if you wanted to, like, carry it for an hour, and if you ever need to set it down, you guys could do that, and then I'm sure she could cast it again. Yeah. I don't know what level the spell... How many spell slots? She's in charge of that, you know.
No, it's first level spell. I'm looking at it right now. It's a ritual.
So that's an option.
Yeah, it's a ritual cast.
So that's an option. You can transport it with that. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 hour.
Yeah, that's good.
Good search, Steve. Just want to say.
Yep.
Joseph goes on land.
Okay.
Probably in eyesight of Rohal and Lorien. He steps off the ship.
Where are you going? I'll lean over the edge and just say to him.
Joseph stops for a second. Now he has a cloak on now, and I guess he stops and just keeps going. And I would like to go look for a arcane library.
Okay. I think
Any
as a
particular
rogue,
reason?
You have city smarts or something? Let me see.
Any particular reasons as to why you would want to do that?
Are you saying it out loud, Joseph, or are you saying it just to the DM?
I'm saying that.
No, I mean
okay.
It's Joseph saying it out loud.
I didn't say it as Joseph, I said that Joseph is going to look for a arcane library. He didn't say anything, just kept going.
So Rohal just sees him wander into the streets when they're about to go on a quest. Okay. Make an investigation, which counts as, I think in like 3rd edition it was like city smarts or some shit.
You mean me?
Yeah. Don't you have an ability to like be urban smart? I think you have one as a city rogue. I could be wrong.
Hold on, let me see. I think rogues had something like that, but no, that's not.
Just do an investigation for now.
Investigation, okay. And if I can't, I'm just going to ask around if there is an arcane library nearby.
The 15 includes knowledge of urban places, because this is a small city. It includes you overhearing people. It includes you checking any street signs or any public maps, and it also includes you lightly asking a few locals. And from what you can gather, there is no arcane library here. There's only small personal collections of historical books and things like that, but nothing that is of a public nature, like you have seen in Gryhold. And the one in Gryhold was probably the biggest in the entire realm, from what you've heard.
Joseph feels for his money pouch and feels like he has no fucking funds to buy anything of sorts of that, like that.
50 gold is a decent amount of money. But
I didn't
you don't
get
necessarily
50 gold.
Oh, that's right, you were downstairs. Shit, okay. Huh.
I have only 43 copper and 3 silver.
Okay, that's true.
Well,
that's not a lot.
Fucking gems.
That's true, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. You went from being the wealthiest to the poorest party member.
I mean, I think I'm still the poorest.
You got 50
Someone
gold.
took my fucking.
Yeah, you got 50 gold.
Actually, yeah, no. I was gifted 50 gold, so not quite.
Yeah, so Lorian, keep track that Joseph didn't get his.
Yeah.
You know,
So you still have that?
and I don't have my gems anymore too. So
Read the chat, Steve.
Yes. We're talking about Discord or?
No.
Okay. As he's going down the
Yeah.
alleyway. Okay, so Joseph.
Well, as I see him walking away, ignoring me, I throw it at him,
I
like
did
in his
actually-
general
like,
direction.
I
Joseph,
did
make
actually like.
Joseph, make a dex
I did
save.
actually stop. I did actually stop, but like
Crowbar.
didn't decide to respond.
Joseph,
I
make
mean,
a
that's
dex
the
save.
most worthless thing I have.
Joseph, make a dex save. Because no. So even with the 10, even with your 9 attack, you at least hear it tumble into the cobblestone behind you and see it slide near you, and it gets your attention.
That was my intention. It wasn't
Right.
to actually hit him.
Right. No, yeah, and that happens.
How far did he fucking throw that? Jesus.
He threw it pretty far. He threw it like maybe like 40 feet, 40, 50 feet.
There's an arc from the ship, so
It's pretty
not
easy to
as
throw a
hard.
crowbar that far, but it's hard to throw it accurately. He could have definitely fucked up a passing dwarven boy or something. It's always a dwarven boy. I like to always make the dwarven boy the victim of random crimes.
What's wrong
He
with
stops,
you,
looks at the fucking crowbar, looks back at the ship, goes to the crowbar, picks it up, and hides it in his fucking.
Add it to your inventory.
When he's
Add it to your
dead.
inventory.
And he says, "Could be useful later." And he to himself he mumbles, "I could use this later."
Yeah, add it to your inventory.
It's a
So
secret
Joseph-
tool that'll be
I give him a
useful
Chris
later.
thumbs up from the boat.
So Joseph, being that you're... Sorry, go on.
I didn't say that out loud, by the way.
Very well.
No, but
So I did.
I see you picking it up, so I give you a Chris thumbs up.
Yeah, well, I'm fucking going away, so I don't see that in the other way.
So while the party on the ship, Yvonne is completely in the dark about this quest. No one has gone down to tell her that you're going. But for those of you who are aware of it and are willing to go, use this time to decide if you're bringing all of your items or if you're leaving anything in your quarters on the ship. And then we
Where
have...
on the ship is she?
She's in one of the quarter rooms by the map room. And then Joseph, it only takes you
Gotcha.
about 10 or 15 minutes to ascertain that there is no public library in Heldren. So you can just choose what to do next, but I think Rohal's about to say something. Go ahead.
I will probably pass her when I walk down to get the egg.
Yes, you will. The egg is going to be very
Hey,
difficult to
hi.
move on your own. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You can do it, but it'll take you
Um,
half movement. Anyway, go on.
Lorian, would you mind helping me with the egg?
Not at all. What do you need?
I
I say as I'm
are,
emptying stuff from my pack, by the way.
You're a wizard, aren't you?
Last I checked.
You don't happen to know something? I mean, the egg down there, according to my estimations, it's about to burst, and I would like it to. I would like to be present for it, so I would like to bring it. But it is. I would not want to have it in the bag of holding because obvious reasons,
Yeah,
and
you don't
it
want the egg
is
to be out. Yeah.
not the greatest thing to carry either. So would you mind perhaps conjuring up a certain thing that could help
You
us
want-
carry it by chance?
You want me to? Okay. All right. It'll take me 10 minutes to cast Tensor's floating disc, and it lasts an hour, and I have to concentrate the whole time. And then I'm gonna have
Gotcha.
to sit down for another 10 minutes to cast it again. And
I will-
concentrate. the whole-
Give you water walk and breathing within that time too. We can do
Or-
rituals
or walk-
together.
Okay.
I
We're
would
walking
like.
on the island, but go ahead.
Unless you have a better idea.
Would it be possible for me to find maybe some stores or stuff that would maybe sell arcane books, or maybe somehow find through shady means someone who would deal in some
So
interesting magic?
upon arrival, you did receive a map and I will share that map with you. And we went through some of it.
I didn't get it because I was a goat.
Okay, that's true. Fuck. So, with your street smarts and traveling around, you find a tavern, a blacksmith, a jeweler. I'm gonna sneeze. One second.
Also,
That
one
was
thing I would like
muted,
to
okay.
add is I'm also looking out for any thieves guild marks, because sometimes thieves guilds leave marks on the houses, I believe. So if I remember correctly.
Noted. You don't see any as you pass through town. Make a perception roll. So far, jeweler, alchemist, blacksmith, tavern, temple, halfling family cottage, seafood shop, adventurer's choice supply.
You see marks that
general
aren't
store.
there.
Nice to witch. Nice to witch one of those.
Oh, he rolled a 22.
Oh. I thought you were talking
20.
about the halfling cottage. I'm like, that is pretty nice.
No.
That's 20 on.
You do not see any thieves' cant written anywhere publicly, except when you go by
marking.
the adventurer's choice supply. You think you see a little something on a tree outside in the cobblestone that just doesn't really indicate anything. It's just more of like a marker, like a thieves' cant marker. Like this is a point. General store,
would also-
cobbler shop,
would
postal
also-
messenger, and yeah, that's about it. Go on.
You would also have heard that we saw that text in Virginia, that text that we saw in the
No,
bar.
I most likely wouldn't have, because then again I was a goat, and a lot of time I was in the map room.
When
We saw the concept.
we came back and told people about the whole ordeal.
We did skip a lot of
and
time.
then you were
so
human.
We can say that we skipped several hours at different points, and it could be said that they at least informed you because you're part of the party. It's like, hey, we came across this, and Jinio had interpreted it because he's a thief. Who knows thieves
Tell me
can't?
this, after all, would they really share this info with me after what I did?
It's up to roll. It decides. Yep.
I'd say so. Why not? I mean, I did throw shit at you. You know, implying that I have certain emotions regarding your behavior. But
So
you're
far,
part of the party.
for now. So far, I haven't found any private collectors, basically anything where I could find anything Arcana-ish.
You have not, except the alchemist shop, which has some magical potions. That's the only magical thing you've seen in the entire city.
But now I'm at the adventurers thing, right?
You are at the adventurer shop, all alone,
And
looking at an ominous door with very little
And
defenses.
like
It's
what, and
unspeculative.
like what and I guess now I know that there was like a thing in the bar saying that there might be something here.
Correct.
So I guess it's like a shop door. Can you just walk in, or does it look like a door I should knock on first?
It's a door that appears to be, you can walk through it. It is closed, but you can see some movement of an individual through the warbled glass.
Yeah, so we're gonna do those rituals, and then we're gonna head down to get the egg. And I'm thinking that I'll just pass by and say hi to Yvonne and ask her if she wants to join us.
Okay.
Hey, Yvonne.
Yes.
To be
How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Sounds doubtful. Either way, I think some social engagements and a fair would, fairing with us to perform a few tasks would do you good. Would you like to join us?
Yeah, I need to occupy myself with something other than my thoughts.
I think that sounds like a good plan. So we're gonna go down and get the egg right now. We're gonna bring it, And if you would like, I'll check in on you on the way out. How about that?
Yeah, I'll get some things ready.
Awesome.
And before Lorian helps you with that, Lorian, just do a perception roll as you're tidying your things and choosing what to keep in your pack and what not to keep in your pack.
Oh, okay. Oh, fuck. You're gonna make me get off the couch. Alright, hold on. Okay. Perception roll. Perception. Yeah?
Ooh, spicy roll. Spicy Maki combo. Okay, so as you put things away where they belong, you take one last look at the coin that you put in your coin purse or pocket or what have you. And as you do, you cannot help but notice a resemblance between the face on the coin and Von Tanner's face.
Who?
I sit on the bed real fast and say, "Oh fuck! I fucked a god."
Congrats.
Well, I am pretty fabulous. and I look to the side and then I say again, "Oh fuck." and I graze my fingers over my belly for a moment. "Oh fuck." And I just shakingly put the coin into my pocket. "Oh fuck." And come back upstairs.
And as Lorian helps with the egg, she can choose what to keep to herself and not. Joseph, what are you doing in this situation?
I'm going to enter the shop.
You're going to enter the shop.
The adventurers thingy.
The adventurer's shop. Let me get you there, good sir.
Zerp.
And why is this music not switching? I guess we'll choose some random music. Hopefully it's not too hardcore. I like it.
I mean, that guy looks very aggressive.
In fact, that's how he looks.
It looks pretty aggressive. That's not good for his teeth. Side note.
Welcome to my shop, traveler. How can I help?
Oh, you see this half-orc before you. And as grizzled as he appears to be, he welcomes you warmly.
I said, traveler, how can I help you? Welcome to the adventurer's shop.
Joseph looks around and says, "Evening," and he kind of walks around. "I heard that there might be interesting things here for adventurers, so I came to put my..." He begins to say "I," but he says "eyes" over them.
Make a perception roll now that you're in the shop, Joseph.
Reception?
Perception.
One moment. I'm also keeping an eye out for some Arcana books.
Traveler, you are being a mite bit vague. Can you specify what it is you are looking?
God, that voice changer is interesting. I came to see what you have to offer. Might you have any books of arcana nature?
Any books you see are books only for myself. Books on how to care for these weapons, repair them, and their history. But I have no books about arcana. Something tells me you came here for something specific. What is that thing, traveler?
Something specific.
You can also roll in...
what kind of...
An insight roll. Do an insight roll,
Insight?
Joseph. Yeah, your perception was horrible. You just see a couple of pieces of armor and weapons laying about, some in cases. Inside of
That's not
9
even-
is not fantastic either. You're not really sure what he's getting at, but he seems to be getting at something or referencing something. Perhaps it's the fact that maybe he's trying to feel you out whether or not you've seen the Thieves' Cant or not. And he is looking you up and down. He's sizing you up in one way or another, but you're not sure how and why.
Did he say anything in Thieves' Cant so far?
He did not.
I'm going to try something in Thieves' Cant. And I'm going
Okay.
to say, so in regular speech, it would sound like basically something. I came looking here for a little something, but in Thieves' Cant, I guess I say, I saw the message in the inn, basically.
He replies in a rhyme, but it's crude for Thieves' Cant. You've never heard such crude Thieves' Cant before. It's almost as if he hasn't spoken it much, or is very new to it. But what he's trying to convey, at least you think, almost in baby talk for Thieves' Cant, is something along the lines of, you are welcome here.
And as there is talk in Thieves' Cant, Joseph has a little. He doesn't look defensive. Like it doesn't look like he's in a defensive state. But now his guard is up.
And we're going to go back to the other group for a moment now that you think that over. So, Lorien and Rohal, with some caution and care, are able to bring the egg top deck and even to the docks if they choose to. I assume Yvonne is also preparing for the journey. I don't know if there's anything she wants to leave behind. Anything you guys want to leave behind, you just uncheck it in your inventory, and I'm assuming that's going to be in your quarters on the ship.
Yep. I should not be overloaded at all now. I didn't realize I was carrying so many suits of fucking armor.
That's what I'm saying. You have some heavy shit, like, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. No, most of
Good.
that. I was mostly scrolls and like little components.
I'm
in
just
my
saying,
homunculus
you've
and stuff.
seen what happens to adventurers when they say, fall overboard at sea and things like that.
I mean, it was all in the bag of holding, though.
Really, as much as I want to avoid this pun, you really don't want to put all your eggs in one basket
Yeah.
as you carry your egg on with you. But anyways, so are you all heading in the direction of the quest for the abandoned cathedral, which, as I mentioned, is about 4 to 5 hours journey eastbound?
Yes.
Very good. As you go through town, I would say all three of you, Rohal, Lorien, and Yvonne, make a perception check, and you do get some glances at the egg, but since this place is known to have eagles along some of the northwestern cliffs, it's not that strange for people to see. They know that it's a giant eagle egg, and they are familiar guardians here.
I'm gonna turn to Rohal and say, Rohal, have you considered asking one of the eagles to exit for just the day?
Exit? What?
Yes, exit.
Um,
Sit on the egg for the day.
Well-
Just for the day.
I will jump in and say, as Lorien asks Rohal this, Rohal does remember that the giant eagles did reject any care for the egg whatsoever when they first came by and looked at it.
Weren't you there? When they did that, Lauren?
She
No.
was. She was.
So
Yeah,
too.
I just not.
I mean, technically, I don't think I actually was there, but I got retold to me because I was not there for that session.
Fine,
that part of
fine,
the
okay. I was just thinking, maybe they'd be willing to do it for like.
I was thinking that, and I was also thinking that it might be from a different kind of bird as well. That they might be hostile towards. So I decided also not to reveal that there is an egg.
No,
anyways,
we showed that.
yeah.
We showed the egg to them.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, we did,
I
and
wouldn't have,
they were like,
but it
"Yeah,
was
that's a
okay.
giant eagle egg, but we don't want it because it's speckled, basically."
Very well.
Not that it was necessarily speckled, but that the speckles are blackish instead of brownish, which is unusual.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was
okay.
weird.
So Yvonne is the only one who did the perception roll, and she rolled a natural 20. And as you're going through the cobblestone streets, because you're on the northwestern side of town, which is also the northwestern side of the entire aisle, which is also got a mini aisle, which is also part of the bigger aisle. Complicated. You're kind of moving east through the town to get on the outskirts, and it's moving quite quickly. And as you do, wow, roll halt 27, my god. Both of you, I don't know about Lorien, but both of you immediately notice that Joseph is standing in a shop. The door is wide open still. And you see him kind of perusing some swords and armor and talking to a very tall half-orc. And you see that as you walk along the cobblestone streets. And Joseph, why don't you make a perception
that
roll?
conversation yet?
No, it's going to be tough traveling with him, but, you know, I don't know what to say. There's nothing wrong with splitting the party, too. I'm not opposed to that. I'm one of those DMs that, if you guys want to split party, I'm like, I've got something for everybody. So, Joseph, you...
I have other character ideas. I have other character ideas, don't worry.
Joseph, you notice a giant egg going by in the street, but you don't really see the others. You just barely notice it. It's kind of hard to miss the giant egg, though.
Yeah, he just thinks, and turns back, I guess. And I'm actually going to look at some. Is the orc half orc telling me anything else? Actually, I'm going to say, what sort of what things do you offer? In like in a thieves' cantish tone. Do you have stuff that you can show other customers?
He replies in common.
Do you drink the red drink, traveler? I can't quite tell if you drink the red.
Would you say that without the voice changer? I'm having a hard time making out words.
He said, "Do you drink the red drink, traveler? I cannot tell if you drink the red drink."
I'm assuming you ask of wine, correct?
You can tell that he immediately retracts his statement and shakes his head and says, "Perhaps I can interest you in something else. Would you like a pair of leather gloves or perhaps a dagger?"
If that sentence didn't tell anything to Joseph, no?
No. But it seems like you might have
chat.
revealed that you don't know what you're talking about. Rohal splashes it violently up in the air with shape water and then throws frostbite to create snow. Gather snow with control air, makes it into a snowball, throw a snowball at Joseph. Joseph, make a dexterity saving throw.
Well, he's not going to be conscious, so it's going to be with disadvantage.
With disadvantage, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. I was about to say.
Spider sense is going off.
Not really. More like you not conversing with the shopkeeper while senses going off. This hits you directly in the
24.
ass.
No, oh, right, it's the lower one. Never mind. There we go.
Snowball hits you in the ass and you're startled.
Luckily, I have a cloak on, so I turn around and there's just a half orc sees.
The shopkeeper also leans forward and says,
I don't know if those are your friends, but I would appreciate it if we keep water outside of the shop.
Would he quickly identify snow as snow that way? I mean, it should have startled him too, no?
Well, he kind of like saw it get thrown in by some hooligans in the fucking street with a giant fucking egg.
I suppose.
Hey, get in the car, we're gonna go roll some eggs.
Get in the car, losers.
Yo,
Joseph turns back
Joseph,
around.
get over here.
He turns back around to the shopkeeper. The sentence you might have said might have been some sort of code, I understand that, but not from where I'm from. Might you have any long swords?
But of course. How many would you like?
What can you offer me? What sorts of long swords?
have regular long swords. That'll be about 4 gold pieces. We have bastard swords, if that's your sort of thing. What kind of foes do you plan to fight with?
How much was your usual long sword?
He repeats and says 3 gold
3
pieces.
gold.
And depending on the condition, it could be 3 or 4 gold pieces. And depending on the artistry.
I kind of feel stupid for not understanding what he said, but he takes out the arcane sword figurine and asks, "Would you be willing to trade?"
His eyes
How
widen.
rough.
His eyes widen. And he rests his arm on the counter.
The counter. What would you like for that? What would you like for that?
Well, could you tell me what this is, maybe at first?
But of
I
course,
presume.
there's a figurine of Shadow Blade. That is a figurine that can immediately turn into a Shadow Blade that you have for a limited amount of time. I've only seen that once on all my adventures, and as you can see by looking at my face, I have been around. I don't need to tell you.
Okay. He looks back and says, "Are usual longswords only the things you have?" And he's kind of hinting to maybe he has some hidden stock.
What else are you willing to offer? It seems that you have some unusual items. I can barter.
I also
And
take
perhaps
out.
your friends would like to come in and perhaps your friends would like to come in and barter as well. It seems that you have quite the interesting crew out there.
With a 27, might I have heard this?
Yes. And also, you can see that his demeanor completely changes from annoyance at the snowball to then now thinking that perhaps the group has some unique items.